So hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am here with Walter. He will appear shortly, I assume. And it is Wealth Wednesdays, where we usually talk about things involving money and health and a whole bunch of other things to help make us an even better people. Which brings us to the point of the show. It is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with an emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. And I'd also like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are co-hosts, because I try to read each and every comment, but I definitely want to make sure that I cover everybody's comment, question, or concern at least 5 times. So hopefully that works for you all. And so before we get started, well, today we're going to talk about health, because last week we all kind of decided that's what we wanted to talk about. So Walter has a whole bunch of stuff he's going to bring to the conversation. And of course, I want you all to throw whatever you want to talk about into the comment section so that we can cover that as well. So I see L Boogie Speaks to Show. How you doing? And Moni, what's going on with you? I should say happy birthday to you again as you celebrate your birthday throughout the whole month of July. And so we got what, until next Monday? And then we'll have to wait till next year to do that. So you say happy, beautiful Wednesday. Still celebrating my birthday, Demetra. Much Detroit love. Hope you and Donovan will have a great conversation for Sunday. Enjoy with your handsome brother today. Be blessed. Yes, indeed. I don't know what we'll talk about on Sunday, but I'm sure it will be interesting, as a whole host of things happen from Sunday to Sunday. And so I'm sure it will be. And Maggie, how are you doing? And Kiana, what's going on with you? Yes, right on time. And Freddie B, the pioneer, he says, good evening, Queen. Where is the Duke? Y'all know how Walter get down. He know how to manage money, but he don't really know how to manage time that well. And so I like to start on time. As y'all can see, he is here, but he's not here. So I'm assuming he's getting his background together. But I did not want to make you all wait, because I don't really think it's fair to make y'all wait too much longer after the time we say we're going to start. And so until he come on here, we could chop it up. And so Maggie says, yes, happy belated birthday to Moni. And L Boogie says, I am great. I am glad to hear that. Jan Michael, how are you doing? So yes, indeed. So Walter, are you there? I saw your microphone cut on.
Yeah, oh, you know what? Sorry. There it is. My camera, you have to push it up. Man, I want people watching me.
Yes, please, you all hit the like button. I love and appreciate y'all for doing that. The Pioneer said, somebody said Walter looked like Johnny Gill, and it still got me tripping, laugh out loud. He does look a little like him to me also. Walter, you kind of dark there, but a lot of people actually used to say Walter looked like Michael Bivins.
El Biv DeVoe, baby.
Yes.
Let me hit some lights.
Okay. And Stacy, how are you doing? And so again, Walter is going to be discussing, well, we all going to discuss health. Again, we talked about that last week, and we all decided kind of unanimously that we wanted to do that. As you guys all know, health is considered wealth. A lot of people don't think that health is wealth. I think about a lot of people who were millionaires and even billionaires who tried to the bitter end to hold on to life. And I think of that, I think it was David Rockefeller, who I think he lived to be like 103, 104, 105 or something like that. And it said that he had like 8 heart transplants. As y'all know, the Rockefellers are among the wealthiest people in the world. They're not the wealthiest people, but they are among the wealthiest people. But he didn't want to leave here. He got like 8 heart transplants in order to stay here, to spend all of that money that his family has. And of course, they've amassed their wealth from probably over 100 years or more ago. And so also that Steve Jobs, as you all know, he was the founder of Apple. We have Apple everything, right? Apple Watch, Apple phone, Apple computer, you name it. There's an Apple product for it. But he died fairly early. Now, later on in life, or I think maybe for the most part of his life, he was what people call a fruitarian, to where he only ate or mostly ate fruit, and he was diagnosed, I think it was pancreatic cancer, and then he went into remission. And then, of course, he had a new leash on life, if you will, lease on life rather, where because a lot of people said Steve Jobs was not a good guy. He was kind of a, horrible person, for lack of better words. And so he changed his outlook when he went into remission. Of course, y'all know it came back, and he is no longer here. But I bring up a lot of those people because they understood, no matter how much money they had, that actually being healthy is what really determines your worth. And so we are going to talk about what we need to do to obtain optimal health so that we can be here for a long time. I know a lot of people have the ideology of, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Well, most people say that until that time comes, and they're like, wait a minute now, I want just a little bit longer. But it's like, nah, you burnt your candles at both ends, and you was living it up and eating all the fried chicken and French fries and beer and, drugs, all the stuff you wanted. And now it's time for, you to go home, whether it's up or down. And you had a good time, but your time is up. So who else came on here before I give it to Walter? Brother Jonell, how you doing? And Pioneer says, no, not Michael Bivins. Yeah, a lot of people used to say that. And let's see here. And Kiana said 8 heart transplants. You can barely get one exactly, but that tells you what wealth does for you. I'm sure he was bumping people off the transplant list left and right. Like, I need another one. So if I'm not mistaken, it was about 8 of them that he got. And that was David Rockefeller, I believe, 8 heart transplants. And he died he was like 105 or something like that. Pioneer says, what does Walt's t-shirt say? Anger management is getting what you want.
Yep. Nobody's mad when they get in their way.
And hello, Reginald. How are you doing? Thank you for the compliment. So, Walter, kick it off. What are we talking about today?
A bunch of stuff. So, one thing without going into my history, is I've been doing a lot of study on health. And I realized, so many people, their financial well-being, their mood, attitude, the way they treat their people, everything, most of it is tied to what they put in their mouth. And so I've been doing quite a bit of studying, videos, books, you name it. I'm down 30 pounds, in the last couple, 2 or 3 months, just by changing my ways, how I eat, when I eat, controlling my insulin levels, you just everything from the glycemic index and all those things I'm prepared to go over today. Just some things, if you're trying to lose, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds and you are dead serious, today, I'm going to show you how to do it the real way. If you want more energy, if you want to live longer, all that stuff. Today we're gonna go over, not everything, but we're gonna go over quite a bit, and just some of the things I've learned about the food system that is wiping people, especially people of color, Black people, especially when you're thinking about like food deserts and all the things that are happening. And it's actually there's a lot going on that people aren't really aware of. And it's actually pretty aggressive, never. Okay, I was with George. Matter of fact, he had on that suit, and he didn't see me eat no fried chicken. That's a damn lie. I didn't. He might have seen me drinking, but he didn't see me eat no chicken. So, one thing I've done really is just I've rebalanced my health. Some of I have a health scare, if that's what you want to call it, without going into details. So, and another thing too, we can get into is stress, what stress does to the body, and releasing of cortisol and all those things that we do as a people and don't even realize that we're doing. So
let's start with this question, and I'm going to try to say this. Alkebulan, and I know I jacked that up, so please.
You showed it. Alkebulan.
Okay, there we go. See.
How I know that?
Right, because
that's the name for Africa, the original name. Come on now, y'all.
Well, hell, tell me something I don't know. All right, Walter. So let's address this right off the rip.
That's some bullshit. Next question.
Well, I want to feel.
No, I'm gonna answer the question.
Okay.
I'm just playing. Okay. There's no such thing as you don't have enough money. Here's what I ask you to do. Go through your bank statement and see what you spend money on. Like food, health, building wealth, there's nothing else there's nothing else first or second. Like if you eat like crap now, which is cheaper, well, actually, it's not cheaper to eat healthy, but let me, for instance, if you eat like crap now, when you get older, you will have to spend more money. I was talking to the sister girl that I'm working with, and she was just like, man, I'm so sad about Black women. When we go out, it's just, we all so fat. And I just stayed quiet. I was like, oh, hell, I'm not getting in that. I get in enough trouble as it is. And, she would just, and I was just like, it's our food. It's our food 100%. Like, here's one thing you could do. Every time that first of all, if you eat stuff that's in a box, stop it. Like, I don't eat stuff that's in a box. If it's in a box, I don't touch it. If it's in a can, I rarely touch it. There's some things in the can I'll eat, maybe like, canned oysters or capers. You get the point. But no, most of the stuff in boxes or cans I don't eat. If you turn your food over and you look at the sugar content, and for those of you that are serious, like today is that day to take some real serious notes. Because some of y'all 3 months from now will be down 40, 50 pounds. And some of you guys are going to live by taking this information. I mean, I'll grab my notebook, but man, I'm up 2, 3, 4 in the morning studying this stuff. So if you look at the sugar content in your food, like everything has added sugar. So one thing I realized is it's not, and I'm just going to stick to weight gain real quick. It's not calories, it's sugar. You understand what I'm saying? Because, okay, doll, I love thick sisters too. I just don't like to watch them die prematurely. You understand what I'm saying? And need 2 airplane seats. So let's keep it moving. So it's the sugar that's on the back of, so when you look at the back of your foods, it says sugar and added sugar. You understand we're only supposed to have, 30-ish grams of sugar per day. You look at like I was looking at an Impossible Burger. It has almost the sugar for the whole day, and just in 2 Impossible Burgers. Like some of you guys drinking Diet Coke, think you're fooling somebody. Like, it's not necessarily calories, it's sugar. The body is supposed to have 1 and like a quarter teaspoons for the whole blood system. The whole blood system is supposed to have a little bit more. It's a tiny amount of sugar. The average person consumes 36 teaspoons of sugar when you only need 1 in your body. So it's not calories, it's sugar, number 1. And it's not fat either. Here's the other thing I want to say. When I started losing weight, I added fat to my diet. I don't, meats, I'm out to lunch on, but like avocados, fish, fatty fishes, during, my, in my rehabilitation, if that's what you want to call it. It's being recommended to me to eat fatty foods. If I'm going to eat meats, eat ribeyes. Don't eat lean meats. The fats, you like feed your body fat so it can burn that. And so I'm eating fatty fishes. And so think about this. In the 60s, right? And you can leave this comment up there. In the 60s, 70s, 20% of the population was overweight. And I think that's even pushing it. In the 80s, they went, remember that whole thing? We went from low fat, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke. We went from low fat in the 80s, and the weights, now we are at 80% obesity rate. Because it's not calories, it's not fat, it's sugar that's killing you. Number 1. Salt is killing you too, but not too many people die from eating too much salt. You understand? And you can eat sea salt and Himalayan salt till the cows come home. Matter of fact, some people will recommend that you intake Himalayan sea salt. So
let me actually, if you don't mind, go back to the question about what if you cannot afford to eat healthy. And I think that's a pretty good question, because a lot of people really feel like you cannot afford to eat healthy. I've gone back to being plant-based, and so I'm on week number 2. And before that was plant-based 7 years. It took maybe like a year break, but I'm back for real this time. And so even sometimes eating vegetables or fruit can be a little pricey. I'm one of those people who like to eat a little bit more on the organic side. So I go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Sprouts to get those things, opposed to other stores, because I know too by the zip code, they don't necessarily give you the best foods if you know you're in certain zip codes. And so I eat what the white folks eat at their stores. But it's about prioritizing, budgeting, seeing what it is you have to work with, and then shop accordingly. I always knew that and learned that the best way to shop is on the perimeter of the stores. Now, I personally don't go to like the dairy as far as the cheese and the milks and things like that. I do the fruits and vegetables. Rarely go inside of the aisles because, as Walter said, there's a lot of processed foods inside the aisles, like your boxes, your cans, even your frozen foods. They have a lot of preservatives. You can freeze your own foods if you want to do that. But if your money is a concern, just maybe think about a plant-based, or more of a plant-based diet. I'm not saying go all the way plant-based because I know that's not for everybody, but maybe a couple of days a week say, you know what, I'm not going to have meat because, for one, my budget does not allow for that. So on certain days, I'm just going to do plant-based, and then maybe go buy your meat in bulk if that's what you choose to do. I know chicken is cheaper. Not a lot of times people think chicken is better for you. Well, if you see how chickens eat and how low to the ground they are as far as the stuff that they eat, they don't discriminate with the things they eat because they're just pecking, right? They don't really say.
Well, the other thing about chicken, actually, chicken is worse than beef, and here's why: is you don't fry beef, you don't put flour on beef, you don't deep fry beef. All the stuff we do to chicken, you don't do to beef. You guys, like black people, like this is what we calling it right now, right? Put the chicken down. Let the chicken go. Think about this. When is the last time you saw somebody eating 16 pieces of beef? You can eat 16 chicken wings. I've seen people eat, and that wasn't me me and George went to Del Mar to the horse race. I wasn't eating chicken. But how many times do you see people eating 16 pieces of beef? But they'll eat 3-4 big pieces of chicken. They'll eat 20 chicken wings, 20 chicken McNuggets that's fried. First of all, the chicken is processed. It's fried. It's got flour on it that's refined, which is just another word for folic acid. So those things are wiping you out. I promise you. Just try this. And you guys, I know we talk about money and people are like, oh, that shit is boring. We're just going to work until we die. Cool. You do you. But like the health stuff, you have control over. Chicken fried steak, Lord have mercy. If you are one of those people that believe that you can't afford to eat right, then just go to a tall bridge and just jump in front of 8 a.m. traffic and just do yourself a favor and cut the excuses. That's complete bullshit that you cannot afford to eat healthy. We as black people, we're talking, this is the black show. Stop with the bullshit. Like, you cannot tell me that you can't eat healthy. Like, to eat a zucchini is cheaper than eating a chicken fried steak. You can eat berries, avocados. My daughter, my sister-in-law, if that's what you want to call her, they have avocado trees, all kind of fruit trees, rosemary. I got a big bag of rosemary from the rosemary plant. All that stuff for me is free because I just roll up and fill up some bags. But that stuff is cheaper. And so, and even if it was expensive, like me, I go to organic supermarkets. I go to food farms and I pick my own stuff. I literally pick my berries. I grab my own food. Like, if I'm dead, what's the point? I mean, so the fact that you can't afford good food, that's a lie. And if you believe that, then you're doomed anyways. I'll just quit your job and just jump off something tall. And that's my real thought. Like, people say, oh, I can't afford to save money. That's a lie. You can, because I can follow you and watch you blow. So,
well, I think too, it's really about a mindset change. And I'm speaking from experience. And I want to address this really quick. Pioneer, you say, sis, I'm not sure if a vegetarian diet is best for us as Afro-Americans. Some white folks started saying that, and we just assumed it was better. What's the evidence that is better than limited meat? Well, in Africa, actually, a lot of African countries are plant-based. They have more of a plant-based diet. And so eating all this meat, actually is new to us as far as being brought over here via slavery and all of that. And so I would just say, from personally speaking, plant-based is better for me because, for one, I feel better, have more energy. I'm not all bloated in my face and my body. And I don't feel, clogged up and things like that. And I also say, my mom has gone on. She passed from cancer a couple of years ago, but I will say it was actually her second diagnosis of colon cancer. And when she got diagnosed, we took her to the Dr. Sabi clinic in Los Angeles, and we got all the stuff. And she started really following the Dr. Sabi plan, and her tumor shrunk from 500, whatever it was, and what they measured it to less than 50. And so when she changed her diet, the tumor shrank. Unfortunately, she kind of went back to, eating the way she was, because the misconception is, oh, I feel better now, I can go back to eating the way I did. And I'm not saying, that the cancer wouldn't have come back eventually, but I know that I saw a big change in her when she changed her diet. So is it for everybody? No, but I think there's really not a lot of argument that eating more plant-based is better for you than eating more of a carnivorous diet, if you will.
No, you guys, the strongest creatures in the world, and I'm not advocating for veganism and none of that, because I eat. I mean, when we get off this show, I got salmon right here. I'm about to get down. So Lord knows I'm not gonna sit here and act like, hey Tatum, I'm not gonna sit here and act like being a vegan is the move. And some of you vegans eat fried stuff. You eat flour, you eat grains, some of that stuff. So you're killing yourself anyways. But if you next time you eat, just think about what you're putting in your mouth. That's it. Like, you can eat a steak, just do it in moderation. That's it. Don't you want to do stuff that you can actually do? Like, I went vegan and it was killing me. So now I just eat fish, fatty fishes. If I'll eat a steak once in a while, but I know what I'm doing when I eat that steak. I understand what I'm doing to my body. I know it's not the best thing that I can do, but either it's smoking. For some of y'all dating, there's a lot of things we do that's not healthy, that we choose to do anyways. Don't date them, girl. You know he ain't the right one. But we do the things because we need some pleasure. So when I eat a steak, or let's say if I drink a beer, I know that I'm reducing my life, or I am putting myself at risk. So, and there's things you can do to offset it. Like, for instance, in Asia, Japan, they drink green tea. Do you realize if you eat like green tea, which I drink in the morning, noon, and night, I drink green tea all day. Green tea actually stops it from, maybe I have it backwards, the carbohydrates from turning to sugar. So what happens is when you eat a meal, the green tea blocks the conversion, which then causes weight gain. Here's the other thing, you guys. For those of you, I think cancer is the number 2 killer after heart disease. Do you realize the only thing that cancer lives on is sugar? That's it. Glutamine, glucose. If you cut those two out, cancer cannot grow. Period. So, and they say not to eat meat. But then I have some research that I'm doing is, one guy, he fasted for 21 days, and then he ate ribeye. He ate vegetable shake, a ribeye every day, and he did green tea to offset the sugar from the steak. And he cured his cancer, stage 4, in 4 months.
Let's address this one here. And so you say, thanks for the reply. It's our pleasure. You say, I guess my next question is, how you know if you're getting enough daily on low income? So I think you mean as far as food. That's a good question, because I would tell you too, just be transparent with you. When I was when I first became plant-based, I did, because it was trial and error, suffer in nutrition a little bit until I was able to figure out what I was doing. But you can research it, Google, and see what you're supposed to be having. There's a lot of apps, if you will. What is it? MyFitnessPal and a whole bunch of other stuff. You can actually input what you're eating on a daily basis, and input all of your measurements and all that, and it'll tell you what you're supposed to be having as far as protein and actually your macronutrients. So your protein, fats, sugars, and carbs. And you can adjust from that point. So so if you have a salad, break it all down, what you put in a salad, and it'll tell you where you are for the day. And that way you'll know how much protein more protein you need and stuff for the day. So there's a lot of apps that really take the guesswork out of it. But like I said, when I first started, it was a lot of trial and error.
I'm gonna show you something real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. Okay. I'm gonna show you my dinner for this evening.
All right. And then I'll just take some of these other comments until you get back. Let's see here. And Yeek Waba, I hope I said that right, but I know I didn't. It says Shalom, Master Pacha. And Black America, how you doing? It says, go to prison to eat right now. And Reginald, you actually said something I forgot that I wanted to address. You said, how does Snoop Dogg stay so skinny? Well, for one, he probably has a very super high metabolism. And I think that's another thing that needs to be addressed as well. Just because you're skinny or on the slender side, that doesn't mean you're healthy, because I know a whole lot of people who are very slender, but they eat like crap. They eat, fried foods and sodas and sugars and all that. Eventually, that kind of stuff catches up to you. So, just because you're skinny don't mean that gives you a leeway to eat whatever you want. It's just a matter of time before it catches up to you. So, who else? Let's see. Oh, and the Pioneer says, Queen, you're right, which is why I say limited meat. Our people are eating too much meat, but in Africa, all African societies eat some meat, less than us, but some, all of them. Yeah, they eat some, a lot of fish, but they don't eat it. Like in America, people really could eat meat every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And if they have a snack, they might eat it then. Can you think about all that meat consumption and what it's doing to your body? And so every day, all day, that's a lot. And let's see. And and that's why they're putting in the meat that makes much of it harmful too. I think bird and fish are raised properly is much better than red meat, but you can't eat too much of it. Yeah, you're right. It's how it's being raised. You also say balance is the key. Most fruits and vegetables and unlimited meat. That's the key. Not eliminating all meat when you need that protein and iron and creatine. Yeah, because you can mess yourself up if you don't get enough of it, like I said. And Brother Jonah says, your diet is your life. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches meat was not made for human consumption. Meat plus dead carcass, fish, and nothing dead is fresh. Fruit, veggies is the best. Absolutely, because you can't get life from eating death. Although people say that you can get some nutrients, but it's better to eat things that have life, like plants, fruits, and vegetables.
Oysters you eat raw. You pull them right out the shell and you swallow them raw. There you go. Actually, matter of fact, real talk. One thing that affects Black men is low zinc, and so I started eating raw oysters. Just one or two a day. An oyster, 3 grams of oysters have like 500% of the zinc that you need. And for Black men, especially, like prostate cancer is really aggressive when your zinc gets low. A lot of us don't get zinc, which is easy to do. And what I don't want to do is turn this again about meat versus animals. Meat is not the problem for Black people or for people that get sick. Meat's not the issue. Yeah, meat's not good for you, the processed stuff and some of the stuff they do to the animals. But if you raised your own cows and you had your own fish without the antibiotics, you'd live a lot better. So it's the stuff that they put in it. You guys, I'm telling you, I know from experience, it is the sugar. Number one, when you look at everything that you eat, it's stacked with sugar. Like some of you guys, like feed your kids cereal, even milk, like soy milk, oat milk. If you turn it over, it has added sugar. The sauces, spaghetti sauces, everything has added sugar to it. It's the sugar that is killing you, number one. And here's the other thing that's wiping Black people out is it's insulin. Every time you eat, your insulin shows up. I want you guys to listen to me this again. Every time you eat, your insulin shows up. So those of you who are eating constantly, eating late, every time you eat, your insulin shows up, and sooner or later, your insulin just gets tired. You have diabetes, right? So your insulin says, "The hell with this, I'm done." So then you got to take insulin shots and all these things. So one thing I've started doing is intermittent fasting. I'll go, maybe I'll start eating. My first meal, I'll do it like 2 or 3, and then I'll eat till like 8 o'clock, and then I won't eat again until the next day. And so what happens is, because I'm not eating, from 8 and all morning, my insulin isn't working, which means it's not exhausted. So my insulin's taking a break, because every time you eat, your pancreas has to show up and secrete insulin. It's working like Michael Jackson. So put it to rest. And it's funny, like some of you guys believe in the Bible and all that. It talks about fasting all the time, but yet we don't do it.
And
So
the Daniel fast, which is basically fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, grains. So yeah, it talks about that in the Bible as well,
yeah,
and not
and
eating
then
unclean things.
yeah, and don't eat after you go to sleep. That's suicide. It's dangerous. And you guys understand that breakfast, all breakfast means is to break the fast. That's it. So the longer you can go, do you guys realize after 12 hours of not eating, your body starts to heal itself? See, what happens is when you don't eat, your body goes into ketosis. So then what happens is your body starts living on ketones and it starts eating and burning the fat. But you got to give your body enough time to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So by doing that, your body can heal. And then what also happens is when you fast and stop feeding yourself, the the good cells eat the bad cells. That's what happens. So if you go 24 hours without eating, you've had all that time with the good cells, or you go into autophagy, and you can look it up. The good cells eat the bad cells. You guys, I was 30 pounds heavier 3 4 months ago. I'm telling you, like out of all the other shit people say, you can see, you can see it in your results. And somebody said something about exercise. You guys, health is diet and exercise. Diet is most of it. You understand what I'm saying? And then exercise is necessary, but it's diet. It's like salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying? What do you put more on? Salt or pepper? It's diet and exercise. You know what I'm saying? It was Rufus and Shaka Khan. It was a bunch of them and just one of her. You get the point. So you can get your diet right, and some of you guys will lose weight. Like I stopped drinking alcohol for a month. And I'm a wine. I love wine, but I stopped for a month and just I watch what I eat. You guys like sauces. I go out and some of you guys are eating ranch dressing, fried food. You might as well just take a gun and play Russian roulette because that's what you're doing. So the creams, and yes, that's easy too. Instead of putting like people say, oh, I'm gonna have a salad, and then you put Caesar dressing on it. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense, right? If you're gonna do a salad, just put lemon on it, which is acidic, but when it hits the body, it turns to alkaline. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll do sea salt and lemon juice, or I'll squeeze like a grapefruit juice, or sometimes an orange juice, which is it's not good to consume too many oranges, but I'll do it versus putting a salad dressing on my stuff, if that makes sense. And forget the apps. I mean, the apps are cool, you guys, but here's what you do: figure out something that you can do and you can stick to, and just do it.
Well, I wouldn't say forget the apps because the apps actually do help you track what you're eating. I was using, and I use Lose It. I haven't used it in a while because I'm kind of familiar with what I'm doing. But
That's
sometimes if
my
I want to,
case in point right there is you stop using it after a
yeah,
while.
but I'm saying, for now, it helps people to get on track. So
Hmm.
you'll know what it is that you should be eating, and it gets you in the habit of looking at, how much sugar you should be consuming. Like I know I can't have more than 34 grams of sugar a day. And so it causes me to look at what I'm eating. Now, because I'm going back plant-based or I'm back plant-based, I will eat like fruit and stuff. I don't really count the fruit sugar. Now, there's some fruit I don't eat because it is kind of higher up on the glycemic index, but you got to have some. So I would say if you are wanting to find out what it is you should be eating, try the fitness apps for right now until you get used to what it is you should be eating. It's just really to help you get started. And let's see here. I saw something else on here. And Yakiwa, yeah, how do you say that, Walter?
Ikibulon.
Yakiwa.
Ikibulon. It's the name.
No, 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 no. This one here. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh, Yuwaba.
Yuwaba. Okay, I'll take your word for it. And forgive me for messing your name up. It says, Al, you have night terrors. You know what is really funny and true about that? A lot of times when you do eat late at night, it does mess with your sleep. And I will say that sometimes when I eat late at night, I don't sleep well, and night terrors and what do you call it, night paralysis, sleep paralysis. Yeah, you could get those things. So just be careful, especially if you're eating a little bit more on the heavier side.
Just don't eat. You guys don't eat before you go to bed. Um, don't eat before you go to bed. Don't. Like me, I will eat. I'll cut it off at 8 p.m. and I normally stay up until midnight. When you eat and you go to sleep, you guys, your body is working. That means when you guys, and some of the stuff, once you hear it, it will sound like common sense. When you eat, you're supposed to rest. I mean, when you sleep, you're supposed to rest. When you eat before you go to bed, you are not resting. Your body is working. Your pancreas, insulin, your digestive system, your stomach, all that stuff is working while you sleep. That's why you guys don't sleep, because you eat, and then Lord forbid if you drink. I used to drink heavy, have a couple bottles of wine, and I would fall asleep on that couch behind me, and I would wake up at 2 in the morning. Just it was horrible. Now that I don't eat before I go to sleep, I sleep better. I feel better. And you guys, this comment about Kyrie Irving is actually not true. You guys understand that after eating, if you go without eating after 12, 18, 24 hours, your body starts to heal. After 2 or 3 days of not eating, your body actually starts to get more. After a fast, you will get more energy because you got all the crap out of there. You guys understand, and some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all could go 6 months without eating. You have so much fat wrapped in your body. You understand the body can live off fat. When you lose weight, what do you think your body is doing? It's burning the fat. Some of you guys, so hunger is mental. The hypothalamus and all the stuff up here is saying you need to eat. After you get past a certain amount of time, your body, and I'll answer this question too, your body doesn't need to eat. Think about this. When you're working, you're doing something, you're grinding it out, you're working on a project, and you're really at it, how often do you stop to eat?
And let me say this as well. So yes, hunger is mental. And I read something that said most people in America, now I'm not talking people who are, really low income and in like poverty and things like that, and they don't know where their next meal is come from. I'm not talking about them. But it says the average person in America really does not know what hunger is, because a lot of times we'll say, if it's 3 o'clock and we've eaten in the morning, man, I'm hungry, man, I'm starving. And it's like, but are you really though? Because starving and hungry is for people who haven't eaten in days, right? Now that's true hunger, but it's something that we're just used to saying because we're programmed to think we do need to eat all day long.
Yeah, it's programming, 100%. You guys, and the balsamic vinaigrettes and the Italian dressings, you guys, when you go to Italy, they don't put dressing on their food. Yeah, you ever heard of American dressing? You know what I'm saying? They don't eat. They don't. When you eat a salad and you put dressing on it, you kill it. You kill it. You take dressing that's got 800 calories and Lord knows how much sugar in it. See, they make things low fat, but they add sugar and fructose to keep the flavor. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you eat a ribeye steak and you cut the fat out, the taste disappears. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why some of the most expensive meats, Wagyu, ribeye, things like that, are more expensive because they have the most flavor. So when you cut fat out, you remove the flavor, and then they have to add sugar back into it. That's why in the 60s and 70s, people, like when I was in school, I remember the fat kid. Now you can look around and half the kids are overweight. They're overweight. And they say, oh, I'm thick. I like being big. Lizzo says, no, 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 you are unhealthy. You can be heavier, but if you're honest with yourself, like seriously, guys, I was 201 pounds. I was 5'9", 200 pounds. And I went to tie my shoes one day and I was like, oh, hell no. That's it. Like, I have enough things going against me as a black man in America to be overweight. And so I cut it out. And so now I feel better. I make better decisions. And so I wanted to address, what would you say about people who poop right after? Well, I mean, I guess you're supposed to, but
Yeah, they actually say that it's normal. People are supposed to have a bowel movement, if you will, after every meal, although a lot of people don't, but that's considered normal. Now, what's not normal is going once a week. And I talked to a lady one time, it was years ago. She said she goes like once a month. I'm like,
and she big as hell.
no, she was actually skinny. She
Okay,
was
well,
skinny, which was weird, and she never drank water. She said she always drinks soda, and I'm like, girl.
okay, well, she ain't gonna make it. Um,
Yeah, I
one,
don't know if she's still with us or not.
I doubt it. She with somebody, probably the Lord. But what I tend to do is I try and drink 64 ounces of water. I have a 32-ounce bottle, and I have a bunch of them in my fridge, and I'll drink two of those. Um, Minimum. Sometimes I'll drink three. You try, you should drink half your body weight in water. So they say. Some people say you should just drink when you're thirsty. I just try and drink two 32-ounce bottles, and I drink a bunch of water. When I wake up, I drink water, green tea, and then when I go to bed, I drink water and green tea. So not only am I drinking a bunch of water, I'm drinking 2 or 3 cups of green tea, which is doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, we can get into green tea at another time. But like you wonder when you go to Asia and you see that they're skinny, the green tea blocks the foods from turning into fat. Period. That's it. That's why they don't die of cancer until they get the standard American diet, the SAD diet. Then they start getting our illnesses. And so kill the laxative, you guys. Like if you have to take a laxative to go to the bathroom, something is wrong with your body. Your body will tell you what's wrong, right? You guys, and this is free shit. Drink water in the morning when you wake up. Drink water throughout the day. You don't have to go crazy. And then drink a bunch of water before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, it's flush time. That's the end of it. And you don't spend all day wiping your ass if you drink a bunch of water. Some of y'all got the skid marks because you ain't drinking water. You sitting there like grabbing your knees and hugging, grabbing your thighs, trying to all that crazy shit that people do. Just drink a bunch of water. And I don't care what your income is. You can pick up a water hose, go outside, and you can drink all the water you want. So that has nothing to do with income. And the other thing, you guys, come on, let's stop using low income as an excuse not to do stuff. Kids in some of the poorest neighborhoods in America have internet. You can go out. The problem is with poverty, and I'm not talking about people that are stuck that just can't get out and do anything. There's some people that are just stuck in poverty, like kids and stuff like that. But as an adult, if you know of a side hustle, something you can do, like right now, it's 5 o'clock in Texas, it's 6 o'clock in New York, or about that. What's stopping you from knocking on your neighbor's door and saying, hey, I got rags and all kinds of stuff, and I got a mop and broom. I can clean your house. I'll do it for $75 and I will clean your house. It will take me 2 hours, but in 2 hours, this house is going to be clean. What's stopping you from doing that 2 or 3 times a day? It's that you guys, what's crazy to me? My housekeeper, not anymore, but I used to have, how I met my housekeeper? She bought a BMW from me, cash, boom, BMW off the internet, bought a BMW from me. And then she came back and she bought another one. And she's my house cleaner. She comes in, boom, she got her and her sister. She starts at like 7, 8 in the morning. She hits 2 or 3 houses a day at like $200 a day. And that's it. And her husband works, and then he helps her clean at night, and he's a handyman. Her husband, did my floors over there. While she was cleaning, her husband was doing my floors. That's it. And he goes to work, works a 10-hour day at work, and then came and did my floors, and he does handy stuff. And the both of them got cars, money stacked. They own a house, all that stuff, and they speak in no English. If Rosa comes over here right now, she'll be like, "I, Walter, you want the cabinets clean?" I'm like, "Yeah, wax on, wax off." You know what I'm saying? She don't speak in no English, but she's stacked up, and we could all do that.
Let's address this, Pioneers, as well. First of all, to address this thick, quote unquote, issue, I like thick women too, but there's a difference between being thick and being obese. Sometimes they're intertwined, but there's a difference. Absolutely, there is a difference. But I want to say this: thickness is in the eye of the beholder. Some men like them, women thick, and some men, I don't know. I mean, it's a preference, but I agree with you. I think oftentimes the thick moniker, if you will, does get over applied to people who may be thick, but it's like you got a little bit more going on. And I'm not trying to judge anybody because I know how sensitive people get when you try to say, oh, if they're not thick or all of that. So I try to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, I think we need to be honest and say, well, am I thick or am I fat? You know what I mean? There's a difference. So I
Ain't
totally
nothing
agree.
wrong with, ain't nothing wrong with a thick woman. I mean, honestly, I think most men, if they were honest, they prefer it. It's funny when you catch a man cheating in the news, like Hugh Grant or whoever it is. Normally, it's with a woman that's got some curves, a thick woman. You know what I'm saying? Jerry Springer, shit, he wrote it anyway. You get the point. So, but you have to be able to control that. Like Lizzo is not thick; she is heavy. Period. That's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And I understand we're trying to do things that and I get it. Society says, oh, you're skinny, Victoria models. I'm not attracted to that either. I think most of those women are unhappy. I remember um, Tyra Banks, one of her happiest days was like, oh, I could eat. And then she gained a little weight. But we have to be honest with ourselves, you guys. Like, you don't see a lot of super thick 80-year-old women. Often do you see a big dude, a black dude in his 60s, 70s, that's 300 pounds.
And let me address this, Walter, really quick. How many BMWs do you have?
Right now, 5 or 6. I mean, that's the other thing. That's my side hustle. I do
He's
this.
selling them.
I mean, I sell them though. But no, you guys, here's the thing. One thing, and for me, assets, I don't put it like, oh, I got cars, this. I don't look at it that way. I got out of stocks and things, and I bought, you know, I took my stock portfolio and I bought 20 cars. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have to um, look at it like a business. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I bought two BMWs today. They were $2,000 each. I bought a 2009 and a 2008. One 100,000 miles, 170. They're both worth $6,000. I paid two with everything else. I paid $2,200.
Let me actually go back to this whole little, because you said something, Walter. Yes, Freddie, you say most black men love thick women. I would say that's probably true. You said something though, Walter, about being 80 and thick, if you will. And so, and I'm not trying to shame anybody who's had a BBL. I think BBLs are, it's your own preference, right? I don't have a dog in the fight as far as that's concerned. But I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I said, I wonder if these women think about that when they are, older, how that will affect your back wagging that big old booty around, right? I mean, I wonder if doctors really have that conversation with them. Like, yeah, it's cute now. You're young, you're strong, and your back could probably handle that. But when you're older, your knees start to give out a little bit and your back start to hurt. And so then you're walking around with this, big giant booty on your back. And so I don't know if a lot of people think about that. That would be something I would think about. Same thing with, when back in the 90s, I don't know if y'all remember when the big giant boobs were in fashion. It's like, well, anybody who's had, a little bit too much off top will say that their back hurts. So I don't think people really think about those things. And Pioneer, I agree with you with your definition when you say, let me see. Was it here?
Damn, somebody
It's
said
right here. You say thick means the woman is heavy, but has big breasts and wide hips and big butt compared to her stomach. Obese is heavy with fat melting all over the little shape or definition. I mean, I would agree with that.
You guys, let's keep the show. I'm okay talking about thick women, but let's keep the show, right? Women that are thick, you guys understand, even at 170 pounds, at 5'9", 5'8.5", whatever, they're still, according to some of the weight charts, I'm still overweight. I want you guys to keep that in mind. When you have excess weight, you guys, your body is working harder. When you have fat around your midsection, that is visceral fat. That means your liver is tired as fuck and it is storing it instead of processing it. It is not healthy. I understand thick. I like thick women too. I think it ain't just black men. Most men like thick women. That's why Jessica Rabbit is so popular. You understand what I'm saying? But like Jessica Rabbit ain't real and she don't have cardiac issues. So we need to keep the main thing the main thing. If you want to be, I understand thick, having big breasts and curves and a small waist. That's different. We're not talking about those women. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about the people that are carrying weight around their midsection, their arms, stuff like that. You guys, that fat, that means your heart is having to pump faster and harder because it has to push blood through all that stuff. When you have fat squeezing a blood vessel, that means your heart is working harder to push the blood through. Come on, you guys.
Let
Like,
me let's address this one here too. So Thunder, you say why does the NOI eat once per day? Well, we have our brother Joe Nell, and I'm sure he can answer it better than I. But basically, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says to eat once a day and ultimately every 3 days, because when we eat too much, we wear out our stomach, and then of course we cause ourselves illnesses and diseases and things like that. Because we know that the body is really, the stomach is really the epicenter kind of sort of your body, because it disperses everything that you eat to different parts of your body. And so if you're eating all the time, your stomach is having to churn and digest and do a whole lot of work. And so eating too much can wear your stomach out. And so that's the premise of it. And like Walter said, when you fast, which means not eating for a period of time, it does give your body an opportunity to regenerate cells and to heal itself. And in eating a lot, it takes a lot out of you. Think about the times that you eat and you eat too much, or even if you don't eat too much, what happens? You get what they call the itis, right? You get sleepy, because what happens is the blood leaves the rest of your body and it has to really go to your stomach to help digest that food and and make it do what it's going to do. And so if you're doing that 3 and 4 times a day, that's a lot for your body to go through, and especially your stomach. So that's the premise of really fasting and eating once a day and ultimately every 3 days.
yeah, and every 3 days is fantasy for most people. Um, and, but some people will fast 2 days at a time, or 3 days at a time. We give your body a break. And what happens is when you eat, every time you eat insulin, your pancreas has to secrete insulin. Sooner or later, your body gets tired, you guys. That's it. You eat, insulin shows up to fight this, all the sugars and all that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, the BMI calculation. That's they were saying I was obese, whatever. They can kiss mine, but you when you eat, insulin comes to the rescue. That's it. You guys, if you want to lose weight, if you want to be healthier, cut the sugar. Cancer lives on sugar. Period. If I'm reading a book right now, How to Starve Cancer, and the first thing they say, and I think it was Dr. Ottoman or Otto, I don't remember his name, in the 20s, he discovered that cancer lives on sugar. If you get rid of the sugar, you starve the cancer. If you do a fast, I'm doing a 21-day fast in October. I'm going to a facility up north, and I'm going to not eat for 21 days, just water, sea salt, green tea, wheatgrass, so some things you can eat that won't break your fast. And they say um, a lot of people, when they want to fight illnesses, they'll fast for 2 or 3 weeks, and the gives you the good cells a chance to eat the bad cells. And if cancer lives on sugar, and you don't bring in sugar for 3 weeks, what do you think happens to it? Some of this stuff is just common sense to me. After I hear it, I go, oh, that makes sense. So another thing you guys could do, and I'm gonna just give you some stuff you could do. Garlic is disease fighting. What you do is you take garlic, and I have a food processor, and you cut it up, and the garlic, in 15 minutes, it kicks off a chemical that fights disease. Garlic, cut it up, 15 minutes, boom. Same thing with green tea. Green tea emits a chemical that fights disease. That's why the Asians, they drink it after meals, because it fights all those foods. The other thing, tomatoes. Like right now, I have my this is my lunch or my dinner. Two avocados, two tomatoes, which I cook. And then I eat garlic every day. I do garlic, and I do blueberries, pomegranates, just some of the foods that fight disease. Tomatoes, when you cook them, they secrete a lycopene or something like that. So that's why in Europe they cook tomatoes. Tomato sauce, which is raw tomatoes cooked, releases a substance that fights disease. So by doing some research, you guys will understand these things. I mean, I can tell you, I run circles around most of my friends and family because of their eating habits. And it's simple to do. Another thing, turmeric is huge for fighting disease. And these are things you guys get by: garlic, turmeric, cinnamon. So what I do is I put cinnamon. If I'm going to do a green tea, if I'm going to sweeten my stuff, I put cinnamon. Cinnamon actually fights disease, and cinnamon regulates blood sugar. So I put cinnamon on my stuff. You guys, avocados are the best way, in my opinion, to get the fats you need. So not only are you eating fruits, you getting your fats. And then since we're throwing a lot at you guys. I said this today was going to be busy.
Let me ask you this before you get into that. What do you say to somebody? Because I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago, and they said they don't want to eat salads because they feel like they're already too slender, if you will, and so they feel like eating salads um, will cause them to lose more weight. What do you say about that? And this person truly is on the slender side.
It's not because of the salad. And you're supposed to have 3 cups of cruciferous vegetables a day: kale, broccoli, or so. I don't know. I think broccoli is more of a starch, but kales and things like that, spinach or greens. The problem with that person is they don't eat enough. You guys, the strongest animals in the world, the rhino, the elephant, they eat plants. Do not tell me. And people hit me with this shit. Oh, you need your protein. No, you don't. I guarantee you, if a hippo or a rhino walked in front of you and you had to do a tug of war, your ass would lose. There's nobody stronger than the hippo, the rhino, the elephant. So you guys think about some of this shit is just common sense. You don't see an elephant walk around with a chicken wing. The elephant is grazes. They eat plants. They are the strongest animals in the world. Do you think an elephant is protein deficient? Or a rhino? No, they're not. So sometimes it's just common sense, you guys. Some of that stuff is just marketing. You don't need to eat meat. It's marketing.
Well,
Like you don't need to
it's
drink
just
milk.
yeah, and it's just it's a learning process. It's really just a because a lot of people really don't know, so it's really just getting new information. Like Reginald, I know him as Reginald. You say, is there a good sugar and bad sugar? Like oranges have natural sugar, so absolutely, like a high fructose corn syrup, that's bad sugar. Your candies and your cookies, like the white sugar is bad, right? But fruit sugar is a little better for you. Of course, there's some fruits that have more sugar than others. So yeah, there's absolutely a difference.
Yeah, first of all, I don't do mangoes or bananas. They're too high on the glycemic index. So the higher the glycemic index, the more risk you have of disease. And you hear the glycemic index all the time, but like avocados are decent. Berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries are low to mid on the glycemic index. And not only yes, blueberries I eat all the time. Blueberries are huge for antioxidants, and they're low in the glycemic index, and they fight illnesses. So um, stay away. Like anything, like your body doesn't need to add sugar because your body stuff that we eat already has sugar in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm nursing this glass of, you know, but I'm looking at, I go, oh, that has sugar too. Everything. My girl bought this Blue Monkey sparkling mango juice drink. You get the impression that this is healthy, right? It's mango, it's juice, but if you flip it over, you know what I'm saying? It's got sugars in it. 34 grams of sugar. This is your sugar intake for the whole day in this one drink. How many people will drink 2 of these and eat 3 or 4 times a day? Your blood sugar is through the roof. Cut this. Like I have these are sitting in my fridge. I don't drink them. I won't. Oh, I'm lying. I had one of these. I opened it up. I took a sip and I poured it down the sink just to get it out of my system. Somebody gave me a bag of cookies yesterday. I took a bite of a cookie and I threw the bag in the trash. She looked at me like I was nuts. I was like, turn that bag over and look at the added sugar in the cookies. The other thing, you guys, and I'll answer this question, is I cut grains out of my diet. I don't do breads. I don't do grains. You guys, and if you're gonna do grains, make sure you do a whole grain. And the only thing when I say whole grain, like when they mill grains, what they do is they cut the two because the grain comes in three parts. When they mill the grain, they take the outer two, like you can do the research. It's like the derm, and I don't know. You get the point. They take two of the parts of the grain out, so it's no longer a whole grain. They're refined, which means they mill them and they take the nutrients, the fiber out of the grains when they mill it. So if you're gonna eat grains, eat whole grains. But I tell people don't even do that. Tonight I'm making spaghetti. I'm using a chickpea spaghetti, which is spaghetti made out of chickpea, and I'm taking garlic and tomatoes and sea salt, and I'm making my own tomato sauce from that, and I'm gonna add cinnamon in it for sugar, um, and that's what we're doing for dinner. And it's plant based, number one, and there's no grains in it. So, you ever notice how you have a craving for bread? Like me, I have a craving for bread. Um, like I used to love hamburgers because it's the grains, it's the sugar that my body craves. You're not craving the bread, so to speak. It's the sugar in the bread that you're craving. So, and you guys, here's another thing. Sorry to bust your bubble. Um, don't drink juices. Do not do juice. Think about this. If I do apple juice, the fiber is in the apple, the skin, and then the apple. When you juice an apple, leave the fiber behind, and all you get is sugar. The reason that fruits are good for you is because they have so much fiber. When you strip the fiber by juicing it, all you get is sugar. Like, think about this. How many oranges would it take you to make a thing of orange juice? A bunch. How silly would you look eating 8 oranges? Well, that's what you do when you drink orange juice, except you miss the fiber. So kill the juices. Water is the best thing for you. I drink a bunch of water. I do sparkling water. Occasionally, those of you that saw our shows in the past or the War Zone, I would literally drink half this glass with alcohol sitting here. Remember that? And I always pour a little whenever I do these shows, and I haven't even touched it. It's been sitting here. So part of that is habit for me. I am going to sip on it. Trust and believe.
I was about to say that why you got it there.
I do it for entertainment. Do you realize I will pour a glass of wine and won't even drink it? For me, it's mental, it's attitude, it's good life. I want to have a glass of wine with dinner, but sometimes I won't even drink it.
So then drinking my juice ain't that bad then.
No, but if I'm gonna drink fluids inside of water, I'm gonna drink red wine, which has disease fighting chemicals in it. I will I sip on this. I will drink green tea afterwards too, because the bad thing about alcohol is it has sugar, and alcohol goes straight to the liver, and that's why you don't lose weight, because the liver has a hard time processing alcohol because it has so much sugar in it. And so that's why you don't gain weight. So when you go on a weight loss program, the good people tell you to stop drinking alcohol, and then you lose weight. I stopped drinking alcohol. The weight just started it was walking out the door. I was like, where y'all going?
Let me answer this question. Have you guys ever tried the Mediterranean diet? Not that I know of. What does that consist of?
I've tried it.
What is it?
It's what they eat in the Mediterranenean. They eat. So their stuff so they'll eat like tomatoes, olive oils.
Is that hummus and stuff too?
Yeah, you can hummus. The thing is, their stuff is natural, and in the Mediterranean diet, they eat breads, but they ferment their bread. You guys, I want you to pay attention to this. In the U.S., we don't let our bread ferment because we are trying to get it flipped and sold. In the Mediterranean, they ferment their bread, their cheeses. That's why they can eat breads and cheeses, because one, they're natural, and two, when you ferment bread, the gluten is gone. Gluten is in bread because it hasn't fermented. So the Mediterranean diet, and that you get like olive oil, you don't heat, you don't cook olive oil. What I'll do is I'll take a teaspoon of olive oil and I'll drink it throughout the day, or I'll put it on my salad with lemon and sea salt. I do olive oil cold. If I'm gonna cook in an oil, I use coconut, an avocado, a grape seed, some of the oils that actually will stand heat. When you heat olive oil, you turn it into a toxic chemical. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brother Jonelle, you said the future of your seed and egg is rooted in your dietary, mentally and spiritually. Read How to Eat to Live, books 1 and 2 by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Visit storefinalcall.com. All praises due to Allah. Absolutely. And I have both books and I have read them. There's a lot of good stuff in that, both of those books, actually. But yeah, the premise is really just, to be mindful of what you're eating, and you do not need to eat every day, all day, as it says the American standard diet, standard American diet, as Walter says, the SAD diet has taught us to do. So it's actually causing you more harm to eat the way America would have you do a balanced meal every, 3 times a day and 2 snacks in between. You really
Yes.
think about it, that's a lot of food.
That is marketing. First of all, every time you eat, your insulin, your pancreas goes to work. Eating once a day gives your body a rest. And if you're going to eat, do it in a window. And you guys, if you really think about intermittent fasting, if you eat, let's say you eat at 8 o'clock, that's your last meal, and you go till 2 o'clock and don't eat, think about how much time that is. That's 18 hours without eating. After 12, your body starts, after a 12-hour fast, your body starts healing itself, right? No starches, no. Do not touch corn. Corn is the worst thing you can put in your body on the vegetable side. I do not. Every nutritionist that I've spoken to that knows this stuff says do not eat corn. Don't do it. And the problem with, I'm not going to get into all the details. Just don't do it. And think about this too. What is bad for you in the sugar world? Corn syrup, cornstarch. You understand what I'm saying? Pizza, pasta. I have a cauliflower pizza in my freezer. You can take cauliflower. You can go on YouTube. You can make your own pizza crust with cauliflower. They have some really good vegan cheeses. Finally, hallelujah. They have some good vegan cheeses now at Whole Foods. But like Dee said, you got to go to the white section. Actually, that's down south. In California, we have Whole Foods everywhere. And we have
Well,
some
actually,
very well-known black neighborhoods in California.
I would say actually being here in this in Texas, I've seen more Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Sprouts than I did in California. Now, of course, in California, you have to see the Whole Foods in like your Orange counties and your Los Angeles. They have more of those there. But here, hell, they're all over the place. I mean, I love Whole Foods personally. I try to stay out of the baked goods where they have some vegan cookies and muffins and stuff.
Stay your ass.
But it's just, to me, it's a known fact that they're not going to bring horrible foods into their neighborhoods. That's why it's Whole Foods. It's called Whole Foods because the food, actually, Whole Foods means eating whole foods, like your vegetables, your apples, and things like that, without breaking them down to process them. But they're not going to bring those horrible foods into their communities. They're just not. That's why they say, they tend to, and this is, I don't have any like facts before what I've understood, that they typically do put food that's not so good in zip codes that may not be in a good neighborhood. So I personally take myself to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and Sprouts because I know the food is probably a little bit more on the quality side. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but you're going to pay now or later. You decide.
Yeah, food is like a mutual fund. You can put good food into the fund, and later you will have strong, healthy food health portfolio. Right? If you want to invest for your future, you invest in things now up front that will pay you later. If you eat crappy foods, you will spend money later on health, which is wiping you out financially. You guys think about this. What really kills Black people at the end of the day? Think about it. Think about your old family members in your family. Grandma, auntie, they sick, they got diabetes, they got blood sugar, they got all kind of diseases, they overweight. It's a damn shame. What if somebody broke the cycle and said, okay, I'm going to eat healthier? Now, that's not saying you're not going to do some stuff that's unhealthy. You guys, you have to live too. That's why, like, I went vegan. I was like, this ain't going to work. I'll eat a plant-based lifestyle sometimes, but sometimes I'll eat like oysters because they have zinc. I don't really do shrimp. Shrimp, lobsters, the cockroaches, to see those are extremely unhealthy. But once in a while, I might have a lobster. That's probably once every 2 or 3 times a year. You might see me, eat lobster, and I'm dealing with some, out at a party or something like that. So lemons are good for you. To answer this question, when lemons hit the body, they turn to alkaline.
But
Lemons are good.
limes are better, per that of Dr. Sabi. Limes are more on the alkaline side.
Yeah, limes are good too. Limes work. That will get you in the right direction. So, you guys, I'm just going through these comments. Stay away from rice. The rice in this country is processed. It's enriched. You guys, you understand the word enriched is another term for like folic acid. Enriched is another word for chemical. When I enrich myself, I'm putting something in me, in my pocket, right? When they enrich food, that means they're adding stuff to it that wasn't there. So,
And
um,
there was a study saying that some rice is actually made with a little plastic. I can't remember where I saw that a couple
all
years
that
ago. They
crap,
had plastic.
all that crap they put in there, it's insane. You guys, like, and I like rice, but I limit my rice intake. I limit, like, if I'm gonna eat rice, I limit it. And anytime I eat sugars or rice or anything, um, like my girlfriend likes to come home and make drinks, a margarita, or my kitchen. I mean, you get the point. I have a liquor cabinet. I have liquor all over the place in my house. I have like 400 bottles of liquors and wine. And ironically, I don't really drink that much liquor anymore. So she'll come home, make a drink, cocktail, fire drinks, and all this stuff. And sometimes I'll have a martini with her. But if I'm gonna do that, then I got the green tea like by my bed. I have this giant cup, and I take green tea and I heat it and I drink it while I'm upstairs going to bed. So, um, there, brown rices are better, but you guys, you're better. I know this sucks to hear, but you're better staying away from the grains. It's just because you can't trust what they're putting in it. Like if you were growing your own rice, Kimmy, that would make more sense because you know what's in it. But they enrich. Um, like I picked avocados from my sister-in-law's tree. I know they're not out there spraying they shit and enriching these olives. They just letting them grow on the sidewalk. So I'm okay eating those. Um,
Dr. Sabi also says that wild rice is better for you. If you're going to eat it, it's wild rice.
because it's out there in the wild. It's not being touched. It's not. There's no chemicals. It's just out there. Um, it's beloved. You know what I'm saying? It's just out there on its own on the porch, acting crazy. But there's no there's no chemicals in it. Like salmon, I'll eat wild caught salmon. Um, that stuff is better for you. Parabolic rice. I'm not sure what that is, Damon. I'll take your word for it. Um, and I'm not. You should do some things like you guys. I know, like the soda has 138 calories. It has 34 grams of sugar. Lord have mercy. Are you kidding me? So if I'm gonna open this, I'm gonna take a sip and it's in the trash, right? I know what I'm doing to myself. So these are things you could do, you guys. I promise you. Like this has nothing to do with like saving money, so to speak, but you will make better decisions. Um,
Well, actually, you will save more money because, as it says, you're going to pay for it now or later. Later means that because you didn't make the right choices with your health when you were younger, you had the opportunity. When you get older, you're spending gas money because you're going, making a copious amount of trips to the doctor. You're spending money on prescriptions, and it's the doctor visits, and this, that, and the other, when you could have just taken care of that up front. So it actually is about saving money. Might not be saving it now, but eventually you will be saving it because as we get older, we know that our body naturally deteriorates to some degree, but we can stop that by choosing a different lifestyle and not just diet, but mentally, emotionally, environmentally, and all those things. So it's something we can do actually to save money in the long run.
yeah. So that is true. That's like the mutual fund I was talking about. And the other thing you guys do too is get out. Like just get out. Like as I like the cigar. I made the cigar in Mexico. I've had the cigar for 2 weeks, and I just smoke this thing like a joint. I smoke it, cut it, smoke a joint. The point I'm making is get out and do stuff. I rolled the cigar. A guy I went to his class in San Miguel, Mexico, and he taught me how to. I made the cigar, first cigar I ever made. Um, but like just getting out, like the sun does so much stuff. Now, black people, because our skin is darker, we don't get as much vitamin C from the sun. We also don't get cancer either from the sun. But go outside, do stuff. And oh Lord, have mercy, okra. Please don't mention okra in this household. I have me and my sister have the worst okra story ever with my mom. Woo! But no, fish. Um, I do the wild caught fish, fatty fishes. I do fatty fishes. They're heavy in omega 3s. Then hey, heavy in omega 3s. So I'll do a lot of fishes. If I'm gonna eat meat, I do a fatty meat. I'll do a ribeye. I'll do my son bought me a Wagyu for Father's Day. Man, I never see so many people. I have vegans eating beef, but I try and eat some of the fatty stuff because it's funny. You don't get like real fat eating fat. You get fat with sugar, right? So it's the sugar that kills you. Vitamin D. I have vitamin D. I got on Amazon. I Googled this organic vitamin D and it's a squirt, and I take vitamin D every day. The black seed oil D you gave me, I take that every day. I have a bunch of stuff, green tea, garlic. I do all these things every day as a regiment, just to be healthier. The crazy part is I love, you know, this is gonna sound really shitty, but I'm gonna say it. I love being healthier. I love being thinner. I was in a grocery store the other day, and I'm just like, I felt like Bruce Willis in what was that movie? The Sixth Sense. I was like, oh, I see fat people. I see fat people. I was like the preacher. Oh, I see fat people over there. I see a fat person over there. The point out, you see it. And so I'm thinking, this guy in front of me was talking about his diabetes as he had a thing of Oreo cookies and Diet Coke. I wanted to slap the back of his head. Say, come on, man, your diabetes means your diet is beating you. So as you become aware of stuff, and you guys, I want to, like when they gave me that bag of cookies yesterday, I wanted to tear that bag up. But I knew the minute, if I eat a bag of cookies, the sugar's coming to me. And the sugar is coming for you. And I'll tell you, this shirt I'm wearing is a medium and it's huge on me. 3 months ago, I would have been in an extra large shirt. I mean, shit. Do you know? Last time you saw me, I was pushing bigger. I was the Buddha from the side.
He was like 10 to 15 months pregnant.
I mean, I don't know about that, but like I used to wear them. I used to buy the big shirts and like suck my stomach in, and all that crazy stuff, versus just limiting when I eat, what I eat. And you guys, it's easier to say no to ranch dressing. Like, come on now. It's easy to say no to stuff like that. Like cheese. Cheese isn't necessarily the worst thing for you, but it's so processed.
It actually is among one of the worst things you can eat, because it say in some cases cheese is worse than meat, because it can cause you diabetes, because eventually it breaks down to sugars. Dairy breaks down to sugar, because that's what dairy is as well. Is a lot of sugar in it, and it breaks down, and it can cause you diabetes. In fact, they tell people with diabetes to stay away from cheese and meat, or to at least cut back as much as possible, because it does cause your insulin to spike, aiding in your A1C eventually being higher than it's supposed to. So
yeah, meat and cheese aren't the best things for you, but if you're gonna do meat and cheese, do organic beef or stuff that's raised. If you're gonna do cheese, in a lot of these places, you'll see they do natural cheeses, organic cheeses. In Italy, I mean, my God, I have never ate so much cheese in my life and bread, and I actually lost weight when I got back from Italy. It's funny, when I travel, I come back and I eat like crazy, and I come back either lighter or the same. It blows me away because of the processed foods. I don't eat beef jerky. I don't have a dehydrator.
I have a dehydrator. Maybe I need a more of a state of the art one. I got it from Amazon. I see somebody spamming me with some stuff. I'll get it off of there. Yeah, I have a dehydrator, but the process takes forever. I'm like, damn, this is making my electric bill go up. So I haven't used it in a while. Only used it once, but perhaps I will eventually.
Yeah, Italy. So Italy, man, even just talking about Italy just takes me back. We're actually planning a trip to Italy now. So what happens is you can fly. We flew into Sicily, which is like Sicily, Italy. You land, and then what happens is you can drive around Termini, Tropea. You can drive around Sicily, Termini. It is just mind blowing. The food. You're looking at the water the whole time. You're up on the hill. So you can do that, and then you catch a ferry to Naples, and it's cool because they have a restaurant, bar, food, and you're on this ferry, and you cross it to Naples, and then of course going into Naples, there's Pompeii, Vesuvius. I mean, and then you can catch a train or bus to. I mean, it's insane. For those of you who haven't been to Italy, it is mind blowing. And you guys, by the way, the original Italians were black people. Well, they're Africans. You understand that. The Moors um, are the ones. When you look at Italians and how they talk and their energy. What do you think that is? That's us. Period. So I love going to Italy. I mean, the Africans, the Moors, had a huge part in European development. They were taking a crap in the water before the Africans built the aqueducts. So I go to Europe on a regular basis. I'm like, these men, my people created this system. I'm going to Rome next year, I'm like, my people created these aqueducts. Period. And you walk in Europe, everybody walks. You do. Matter of fact, when you leave the US, you walk. Even we were in Mexico a couple weeks ago. Um, it's just like San Miguel, Mexico. The restaurants are like, you got to walk, and Uber take an hour, and so you do walk, and walk, exercise. You eat a good diet and you exercise. It's huge. I don't know the issue. The water we bathe in. I've taken like 2 baths in like the last year, so I'm with Sheba or a queen. One of the queen, whoever it was, it took didn't take baths. I mean, I'm clean. I don't take baths. So um, I don't know if taking a bath or a shower is worse using the same water. Um, yeah, and the Sicilians, not the Northern Italians. I mean, I don't know my Italian history. I do know is that there was some Africans over there, and you just got to go, and you can learn how they eat, and they eat all. I mean, they eat and they laugh, and some of you guys need to laugh. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys need to cut that shit off TV. I don't watch Housewives and I don't watch nigga TV. I turn that shit off. It's insane. Some of that stuff we watch, you guys. I was listening to the news, and it's just bad news, bad news. I had to turn the radio off. I went, God darn, like what the hell are we doing? You guys, I understand like some of our artists make some really good shows, but black people, if you're watching a show and there's guns, violence, cheating, this, that, sooner or later your brain goes, oh, I'm supposed to lie, cheat, and steal. You know, cheat on your man to get ahead, or what? Don't tell them, whatever. All the shit you put in your mind is wearing you out. So between that and the health, the job is done to black people. So how we get ahead is our food and the stuff, you guys. What you put in your mouth is just as important as what you put in your mind. That's it. I mean, and I don't know. Your brain is important. Your stomach is the second brain. You understand that, right? And I know they give credit to Plato or whoever it is. That's not true. They got all that shit from the Africans and the Egyptians. As a matter of fact, Plato, a lot of those philosophers, they were banned from their country. Some of those guys, they killed some of them. Those guys were in Africa because they were exiled. And like Alexandria and all that stuff, those things in Africa, those places are named after, they're being conquered. If you get attacked every 6 months, sooner or later, the people that attack you, that's how you're going to look. So um, it's good to become educated also. So what you put in your brain, your stomach. Some of the other things I have on here, um, I put, on the fruit side, if you're gonna do fruits, do the stuff that's low, that has a low glycemic index. That's huge, and it's easy to do. Stay away from the grains, the breads, the sugars. You guys, what if you lost 10 pounds? Just start with 10. That's a pound a week for 10 weeks. And the fastest way to lose a pound a week is just to cut the sugars. That's it. When I lost my 30 pounds, I exercised 4 times. Matter of fact, she told me not to exercise because my coach, she goes, because you're not really, consuming a lot, and you want to be careful not to overdo it. So, um, politics, I don't really do politics. I mean, they're all crooks. And Black people, we get so wrapped up in politics and religion and some of these things, and it's all a diversion. Do you ever wonder what AOC does with her evenings? Or Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden? What do you think they're doing for Black people?
Nancy Pelosi probably walks into her ice cream, the giant walk-in ice cream freezer, and she picks the ice cream of the evening. Now, how gangster is that you have a walk-in ice cream freezer just for ice cream?
And she represents some of the poorest people in the world.
And they actually, I guess I forget what talk show it was, but I think it was Jimmy Fallon or something. They were at her house for some reason when the pandemic first kicked off, or right before, whatever it was. And yeah, she was illustrating her ice cream walk-in freezer.
How unthoughtful is that? That you representing, and Democrats are poor, the poor party. It is what it is. You representing a poor demographic, and you got you showing off your ice cream freezer. That's crazy. During the pandemic, some people that didn't understand the system were putting ice cream or stuff in an ice chest because the freezer wasn't working. So, you guys, the other thing too, when you go to Italy, we were in Amsterdam even, they have Black people on the walls. We were in Germany, in Cologne, Germany. We went to Frankfurt and Cologne in Germany, and that Germany and Cologne has this big giant church. You can Google it. It's this huge church. There's a Black Jesus on the wall. It's insane. I'm like, damn, this shit's right in front of us. When I went to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, Black kings and queens on the wall. It's crazy. You go to Europe and you see all these Black people on the wall, all these kings and queens. But they know Black people don't travel, so they're not worried about them going and seeing their kings and queens and then switching their attitude because we are truly kings and queens and we should behave like kings and queens. Like, if if we want to add to mental health and what you put in your body, we should add recreation, travel. I'm telling you guys, some of the coolest things I learned about Black people is when I travel. When I went to Cuba and I heard a Black dude say, "Gay, que pasó?" What? It's the craziest thing to have a dude that's darker than you holler at you in Spanish. It is crazy. Colombia, all these countries, like you go into Cancun, even some of these Honduras, you go into, it's crazy. Cuba, especially Puerto Rico. As you go down, you guys, these are Black people. You understand? Africa is, if you look at the map on my wall, Africa is, you see Africa and South America are right next to each other. Wouldn't it make sense to go to South America first? Does that make sense? So that's why it's so dark down there. Africans were there before the colonizers show up. So, oh yeah, they love. I'm telling you guys, Europeans, you won't see it on the news, but if you watch like European TV, it's totally different. It is unbelievable. When you see it, and you see us on the wall, so it's good to get out and feed your recreational side too. Cuba was off the hook, man. I had a good time in Cuba. Cigars, everything. Cuba, man. I'm telling you, for you guys, you can go to Cuba for like $300 or $400 round trip from Houston. Houston is, for those of you who live on the East Coast and the Midwest, or the South, you have no excuse for not getting out. San Miguel or Mexico, all that stuff is 2 hours from Houston. I think it's 3 hours to Cancun, or I don't know. All that stuff is close and it's cheap.
This is a good quote here. Brother Jonell says, Shaq on Twitter says, make time for your wellness or you'll be forced to make time for your illness. That is most definitely the truth.
Yeah. And Shaq, that dude owns everything.
Okay.
Like he invested in Google, all kinds of stuff. You know, he owns Papa John Pizza. I didn't even know that until recently. He's like, "Oh yeah, own that, own that. I got that too."
And with that quote, he understands that wellness is really more important and than the money because if he's not well enough to be here to spend it, what difference does it make? So yeah, you want to protect your biggest investment, which is you, right? And Ali said, "Did you hear about Tyrese who donated $6,000 to his church in Atlanta only for the congregation to get gas cards and money for groceries?" So was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, they gotta eat shit, Nate. Gas prices, gas is killing people. I mean, I think those are two of the best things you could have gave them is food and gas. Those are two things that you need.
Oh, speaking of
So,
which, the Feds raised the inflation rate again another quarter, fourth of a percent today.
yeah, I was hoping they would do a full point. I want to get this over with. I mean, inflation is at 9%. It should be at 2. You guys, we're light years away um, from inflation coming down. I want them. I want the world to crash. I want it to not crash, but I want it to slow down. I can't wait. I'm excited to be able to buy stocks again at a lower price, to be able to buy real estate and actually negotiate. Um, so that stuff I look forward to. And the racism thing, I know, we get into that and I try not to spend too much time on that because right now we don't need racism anymore to hurt black people. We do it to ourselves. You know what's crazy is now I go on Facebook and look at a new soul food restaurant, um, a chicken D, the place you always talking about. They got the line, black people out there. What's the name of that restaurant?
Oh, the turkey leg hut.
The Turkey Leg Hut. What the fuck? You ain't gonna catch me in no Turkey Leg Hut line. Like you in line for 2 hours for a turkey leg, nigga? Is you losing your mind?
Well, and I've had the turkey leg hut before, and I will say it is extremely salty. I'm like, golly. But so they have a line where you can get it to go. I've never been inside the restaurant, you get it to go. And it's expensive too. It's like, damn, $25 or so for a turkey leg. I'm good. And usually I would share it with somebody. But yeah, so people do
Please
wait
tell
that
me it's a
long.
black dude or a woman that
Oh
leaves.
yeah, I heard they're making like, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Y'all correct me. Easily $1 million a month at that store, at their restaurant, from what I understand. So yeah, they are busy, busy, busy.
Black people and standing in line for turkey legs. Lord have mercy. I mean, it's shit like that. I guess. I mean, sometimes it's novel to do things like that. But like, damn, you in line for a chicken sandwich to the point where you dent your Mercedes because you in a fender bender to get a chicken sandwich from Popeyes or whatever the hell that was.
And the thing is, too, everything in moderation. There's nothing wrong with eating those things sometimes, but unfortunately, in America, we have adopted the habit of doing it all the time. Y'all remember now? Listen, I know Walter and I are a lot older, and Walter's a lot older than me.
I'm like 2 years older.
But when we were younger, we remember going out to eat as a privilege. Like we didn't do it all the time. I remember asking my mom, "Can we go to McDonald's?" She's like, "McDonald's at the house? I can make your hamburger whatever the house." But I appreciate that now that I'm older. But I say all that to say it wasn't all the time where mom or my dad was bringing in a box or a bag from a restaurant or any of that stuff. We ate at home most of the time. Sometimes on Sundays we went to, what was the name of that restaurant you used to work at, Walter? The Smuggler's Borg or whatever. It was
Furs.
Furs. Yeah, it was a buffet. So we ate there every once in a while.
That was a bomb.
Yeah, but most of the time we ate at home, and so it was a luxury. And of course, they didn't have all the food that you have now. I mean, hell, you can't even walk outside and not see food somewhere, right? So yeah, I mean, we have to change it around and say, you know what? Eating out is going to be a luxury. So there's nothing wrong with eating a turkey leg every once in a while. But if it's like all the time, then yeah, you might want to rearrange your understanding of what you're supposed to do as far as your food is concerned.
Right. So thanks for correcting me. Actually, Shaquille O'Neal owns a good deal of Papa John's. You guys understand Papa John's, the founder, got in trouble for using the N-word in a meeting. And so
And here comes Shaq.
A lot of people stepped up, Shaq included, and bought into the company. So He doesn't own a Papa John's franchise. He's deep in the company. Not that that matters. I just thought I would address that. Um, the point is, he owns something. You know what I'm saying? And he made a really good comment. He said when he got his money, he spent $1 million in 1 month. And he said, so my boy grabbed him, was like, yo, no, dude, here's what you do. Like, do, and boom. And he just became an investor. So that I think is just incredible. Like, we should teach that. We should have a course in school on Shaquille O'Neal, on Nas, how Nas, you know, through Steve Stout got introduced to Ring, you know, to initially invest in it. Some of those things we need to characterize and come up with a whole curriculum on excellence, you know, and teach our Black kids. Anyways, moderation. Um, One thing I do want to tell you guys, and the moderation thing I do struggle with, because they say do things in moderation. If you can avoid it, avoid it. You know, like there's no such thing as eating at McDonald's in moderation, because like the sugar they put on their fries is insane. You understand the reason their fries taste that good is because they're coated in sugar.
And beef. So there's no such thing as eating just French fries at McDonald's if you are a vegan or plant-based, because they do have some sort of a beef derivative on their French fries. If you didn't know that, but even back then, because Walter and I both worked at McDonald's in high school, the food was a lot better quality, I would imagine. A
Oh,
lot
big
of
time.
Yeah, so a lot of food now is not, because they have to super produce it. So there's a lot of like even Subway, they said that I guess somehow they had to relabel their tuna sandwiches because it's not really tuna, which tuna in and of itself is pretty bad, right? So it's like, what else are you putting in a tuna sandwich that would make it even worse than that? And so, yeah, I mean, there's certain things you should avoid if you can, but when I think about moderation, because I have this conversation with my daughter a lot. When I think about moderation, I think the way our grandparents ate, right? Like I think about my grandma, especially on my mom's side. You know, she was, a little on the slender side, if you will. But even back then, and I'm just speaking from a woman's point of view, they ate in moderation. They didn't have these, like now we got these big giant plates, right? So if you go out to a restaurant, most of the time they give you a serving enough for 3 or 4 people to eat it, right? But back then, they ate in smaller portions because they understood I don't need to eat all of that to say that I ate something, eat a little bit here and there. And they had this thing, you eat like a bird. That's what women did. And back in those days, they were still curvy, but they ate in moderation so they could eat like a little bit of ice cream here and there and a cookie, not a whole bag of cookies. They were content with having a cookie, right? Like, ooh, I'm full. I couldn't eat. I don't buy cookies because I know I ain't gonna eat one cookie. That's so I just don't buy it. I know me.
You bet you buy the chip. Yeah, and that. So yeah, you guys just look at the stuff. Just look at the stuff that you eat. You know, like, and if you're gonna have a vice, okay, agree on that. Like for me, like I smoke cigars, as you can tell. I don't inhale the smoke, which is one of the reasons. And I know the cigar just leaves because I
All
made it.
right, Bill Clinton.
You know what I'm saying? I don't inhale, but and George Burns lived to be like 1,000,000 years old. He smoked cigar all day, every day. But anyways, pick something that you're gonna do and just be okay with that. Like me, I like wine, and I know like I drink red wine, and I just know, okay, I'm gonna drink wine sometimes. So I'm not saying to cut all out, because that's how you end up going nuts. But just some things you can do, like sauces, creams, salad dressings. That stuff you can do without. You know, and you vegans, stop kidding yourself. If you eating like my sister, she'll eat these vegan corn dogs. I'm like, if they covered in like they fried and they covered, like how did they get the cornmeal to stick to it? And why is it brown?
And I don't eat those things anymore. I'm one of those people. It's a long time since when I was shooting California. Even before then, I had those. But yeah, what Walter said earlier, I'm one of those people. I feel like the more peels and shells that you have in your garbage can, opposed to cans and boxes, the better off you are. Because if you are eating mostly out of cans and boxes, things like that, you're more than likely eating a lot of processed foods. And so I tend to like to make my food straight from vegetables and fruits and things like that. I eat bread every once in a while because I don't want to like completely deprive myself of those things. Of course, the bread does not have egg and all that kind of stuff in it, but yeah, I mostly try to eat things that I have to put a little work into. So y'all saw me drinking some juice earlier. Um, it was
Put it
orange.
down. Put the juice
It,
down.
it was orange, carrots, ginger, and mango. Now I know a lot of that is probably high on the glycemic index, but it's
I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better
yeah,
than it's better than drinking a Coke and some of that stuff.
right. So and yeah, so that's what I've gone back to, and y'all can probably see in my face a little bit. I'm starting to come down, slim down. I don't want to get too small. I remember when I went vegan the first time, I was actually 140 pounds, which is very small for me. I didn't realize how small I got. Of course, Walter probably say, "Ah, she was still fat," but
140. I mean, no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could still be. You don't have to be 100 pounds. That's insanity. I just think that's 100 pounds is for somebody that's 5 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? Um, but you can still be 100 pounds and be curvy. You can still have curves. You can still walk. You know what I'm saying with that vertical sway at 100, 100 pounds or 140. It don't matter. Just and when you know what your healthy weight is. You guys, I mean, you don't need a scale or BMI index to tell you. You know what a healthy weight is. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, I know we joked about juices, but like, just try it. Like, I have a blender. So what I do is I take if
wait,
I'm.
hold on. I got to address this. Let's all say a group prayer. Father God,
It's
bless
$1 billion. Oh, I gotta
yes,
go.
it's over $1 billion. Father God, bless us all with the winning ticket. Yes, Lord. I know some people gonna be like, damn, you thought lightning struck outside of your window a couple weeks ago. You praying to God, low-key gambling here. He said, you know what? You have not because you asked not. So I'm asking that we all have some part of that winning ticket.
Dude, seriously, I ain't seen that in the Bible about gambling, lottery tickets anyway. But no, yeah, it's funny how we just stopped and prayed for manifestation of a winning lottery ticket.
Why not?
No, it's not a negative thing. Imagine if we did that with everything.
Right.
That
And trust me, I've been running around the house, but like, yes, Lord, bless me indeed. Increase my territories. Let the numbers be my numbers. Amen.
if I won a lottery, my phone would be off, my Facebook, everything would be off. I would just be gone.
Right. So if I didn't show up on this show Sunday, y'all know why.
Jeez Louise.
Or how about this? If I show up and I have a big giant studio and I'm like, Jethro, give me camera 9, please. And Bob, I need camera 3. The lighting is not good.
Oh, Jethro and Bob. Where'd that come from? Jeez. But you guys, and we owe it to ourselves to be healthier. And the better decisions you make health wise, the better. Like one thing I noticed when I go, like today I didn't eat, right? And I'm hungry mentally. It's 5 o'clock. I ate dinner at 8 o'clock last night. It is 5 o'clock here in California. So I haven't eaten in 21 hours. And at the beginning of the show, I was starving. I was hungry. Matter of fact, I still have the salmon sitting here since we started. And I'm like, but it went away.
Is it salmon in a bottle or what is that?
No. It's from dinner last night. But I'm just, it's the point I'm making is my hunger went away. I was starving. I was like, oh man, I need to eat something. And it went away. It's all in the mind. And now I've gone 21 hours without eating. And so I'm like, yes, my body is fighting, is healing itself because it's not the insulin is chilling. So that, and this is easy too. Black people, the colonizers don't need to come after us with guns. They can just put food. Um, they can just, they can kill us with food in these food deserts. Like it's like redlining for food. Like trying to find a decent food place in the hood, and I'm just calling it the hood, for lack of a better word, is it's pretty depressing that D has to go to. And D don't live in the hood either, by the way, but she has to go to a Whole Foods or out of the neighborhood, which makes no sense to me. Reparations is funny. We got to talk about reparations one day. And I do want to come around third base with this. Some of y'all eating sundown food.
You stupid. Let me tell you this. Pioneer says Muslims are supposed to gamble, but I think Christians are allowed to. Let me tell you, I know it's gonna be a lot of rock when they buying them. When they buying those lotto tickets. It's like $1.23 billion is what it is now. So I think Allah will be all right with them going to purchase a ticket in hopes of winning that money. Because, most Muslims, they do, help the church and the temple and all that. So I'm sure a lot of that will go to the temple. So I think maybe Allah will be all right with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pastor Lottie used to say, if you're going to gamble, bring the winnings to the church.
You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah.
No, I mean, I don't know. That's your business. If you want to gamble, that's fine. Just make sure you do the right. Make sure you do the right thing with it. And Jeffro, he ain't the cameraman. So this is actually an easy subject because it's something that we could all do. You got to watch the replay, The Blackest Beauty. You got to watch it. We got down. And this is the cool thing about the internet is you can watch it over. And what I would have you guys do is Google Dr. Berg, Berg. This dude is off the hook. He has 2,500 videos on health. Insane. This Dr. Berg is the real deal. He, Jason Fung, Dr. Lee, man, if you just Google how to fight disease with food, or if you Google sugar, or, fight cancer, whatever, as soon as, you get YouTube, the algorithms will start sending you all that stuff. Man, there's so many things you can learn about food that you won't do. Like when I go out, I see people and I see them like on Facebook eating hot dogs and chili cheese fries and drinking a big giant 28 million ounce drink. And I'm just thinking they're just killing themselves. And it's just like you got your mids, like I used to have mid fat around my midsection. And it was just the liver going, oh, to the trash. Realize your midsection is the trash can for the liver, for the liver. It just don't have nowhere to put the trash, so it puts it over there. Right? You got to get on Dr. Berg. You guys, this stuff is on YouTube. You can learn all this stuff. I'm telling you, those medicines, we can erase. Right. And while we talking about the lottery, can we get some donations up in here? Actually, these aren't donations. This is what I like to consider earnings. You know what I'm saying? We did at least I did quite a bit of research. The money doesn't go to me, it goes to my sister, but I did quite a bit of research for this episode because I think we as Black people can really do. Just imagine if the average Black person just lost 10 pounds and we started eating better. First of all, you know how you save people money, you people on a low income, is you don't eat. Like, don't eat when you're not hungry. Do not eat when you aren't hungry. Most of you guys don't wake up hungry. You're not hungry when you wake up, but your brain and society says, oh, you should eat breakfast. Don't eat. Get up and get to work. That's it. And then your body, so now think about the time you waste eating. Me, I make green tea and I'm out, right? Hot water, dip some tea bags, just a little cinnamon, I'm out the door. That's my breakfast, right? And that doesn't break the fast. So if you guys have trouble fasting, there's a green tea is good for that. And then Hoodia Garcinia, which I'm still looking for. So any of you guys know a real natural source of Hoodia Garcinia? Because I understand it comes from the South African cactus and it is, it's not sustainable. So I'm looking forward if you can help me with that. That's supposed to help, with appetite and the brain. It does something to block, to suppress your appetite. So
let's address Brother Darius and how you doing. He says on several medications, trying to do better with my overall health at 54. I'd like to be around a little longer. Well, I mean, and you will be. Just think, as Walter said, he took the bank account approach. Look into your bank account. You know, and I used to be a personal banker, and when I would help people with their account, and I would just inadvertently kind of see where they spend their money, and a lot of it was fast food. So I'm not saying you're doing this, but you know, some people are. So think about what it is you're doing now, and then think about what it is you can do differently in order to have optimal health, because I was one of those people that would always say, "But I'm eating good. I'm eating good." And this is even what long before I was vegan. And I would feel like because I exercise a lot that I'm doing okay. But once I actually took an accounting of what it was I was eating, like and that's why I said the fitness app is good at first, especially if you're really y'all see my picture. Let me see if it come up. That's what I'm trying to get back to.
What was that? 1982.
Hey, you know what? I was gonna say your mama, but that's my mama too. Um,
Back in the day, I was a kid. I'm not a kid anymore. No, nothing wrong with that.
that was actually 2016. Okay. So I'm gonna get back there. I'm not that far off from there, but I want to get back there. But what the point that I'm making is think about, you know, what you can do differently. As I was said, before I became plant-based, I would always say, "Oh, I'm exercising, I'm eating right." But then once I took an accounting of what I was doing, I'm like, "Well, damn, I ain't eating right. I'm eating all kind of stuff. No wonder I'm fat." So once I, took accounting of it, of course, when I went plant-based, the weight was like, shoo. Plus I was working out 2 or 3 times a day, not sustainable. It's good in theory if you really want to get the weight off fast and stuff, but you're not going to be able to keep that up, which is partially how I gained the weight. So now for me, I try to work out every day. I go on at least an hour walk. Sometimes I jog. I try to walk as fast as I can. Mostly jogging is not really cool for me right now because of my knees. I like to run, but I work up a really good sweat. I do some calisthenics, some weights and all of that. I'm not in the gym right now because the kids are out of school and there's too many people and it's monkeypox and the COVID is still running around. So I don't want that. So I do it at home. But what I'm saying is start where you are and figure out what it is you need to do differently. You don't have to go cold turkey. A lot of times people try to go cold turkey and they end up failing because it's too much at once. So if you drink sodas, stop drinking sodas. Drink water or tea with no sugar. And if you eat fried foods, maybe try to switch it to baked or, something that's a little bit more healthier until you can figure out how to really just get where you want to go. So, just start where you are and start small if that's what it takes.
I mean, if you're drinking sodas and you go to juice, obviously, that's a better move. What I do is I do like a sparkling water and I'll put like an electrolyte in it, or sometimes, I'll spruce it up. I'll put like blueberries or blackberries in it and I'll mix it up. Another thing too that I do when I'm instead of juicing is I take my fruits. If I'm gonna do kiwis, and I don't really do kiwis anymore, but let's say I do blueberries, and instead of juicing them, I put them all in the blender. Like I'll do avocados, garlic. I put a lemon in my Vitamix. I cut it up and I throw it all in there, and I drink this the skin, the shells. I take the seeds out. I drink all that stuff. Yeah, thank you, brother Reggie. So that will help you because what happens is when you juice stuff, you kill the nutrients. You get rid of the fiber. Fruits are good for you because they have fiber. Just try it. Throw stuff in a blender, and it's faster too. Like seriously, you guys, I could take this avocado and throw it in the blender. Take the seed out. The only reason I don't put the skin in the blender is because society has told me that the skin is bad for you. But where do you think, as this thing is growing, where do you think the nutrients are in this avocado? They're in the skin. So I cut this thing up the middle. Boom. Matter of fact, my next tonight, I'm gonna tell nobody. Cut this in half, take the seed out, and throw it in the blender. They ain't gonna know. It's pulp. So and those things save time. If you wanna do a meal, one thing you could do is you could take a bunch of fruits and vegetables and put them in a blender, and you could drink that throughout the day during your fasting window. If you're gonna eat from 2 to 8, or if you're gonna even if you can't, maybe not 2, start at 12. You guys could go to 12 o'clock without eating. I mean, come on, you wake up at 6 in the morning, 6 hours. By the time you get your hustle on, do what you got to do, is 12 o'clock. I mean, you guys could go Just skip breakfast. For some of you guys, you will see that you start dropping weight. And then if you eat less, what are you also doing? Taking in less calories. Caloric intake is important, but the sugar, in my opinion, is the heaviest. So if you cut your meals, especially if you're in a low income, you're going to spend less money on food. So that goes back to the original question of what if I'm on a low income and I can't eat right? You can go to 2 meals a day. That'll save you money, right? You don't have to go the musical youth way, but you can lose weight that way. And yeah, 30 pounds is a lot, man. Like when the sun goes down, I was gonna say, here come the sundown food. That's what we should call it sundown food. Don't put stuff in your mouth after the sun goes down. And I know last night for me.
Well, we better hurry up because the song, I'm just playing.
Oh, I mean,
luckily over here, it goes down about 8:30, 8:45.
Even in New York, it's still probably some daylight. It's only 8 o'clock there. But stop with the sundown foods, right? Just you eat and then make sure you stay awake, because then your body burns it, and then you go to sleep and you rest. And then you eat the next day at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And you try and stretch your fast out. And then what you also have to do, you guys, you have to tell people around you, like, yo, you have to threaten them. Like, I'm trying to do better. Because people say, oh, shit, it's just a little bit. Just have you can't do that. Just have a little crack. That stuff doesn't work for you. And you have to be aggressive with these people. I had to tell people around me, I can't do that. I was at dinner with some friends, and we were out, and they were just like, oh, margarita time. Ooh, ooh. I was like, I can't do that. It's got too much sugar. Like, sugar goes right for your body and just starts wearing it out. Have some, enjoy yourself, but just when you can, avoid it. Like if you're going to drink alcohol, like if I'm going out and I do a drink, I tell them cut the sugar. I used to be notorious for drinking Long Island iced teas. And then when I became healthy minded, I watched them make a Long Island iced tea, and I watched how much Coke, and I didn't realize they put Coke and simple syrup, which is another word for sugar water, in those drinks. So some of you guys that are drinking mixed drinks, I mean, Papa Do's, Lord have mercy, that hurricane, yeah, you ain't gonna never lose weight drinking those. Mixed drinks, they put so much. Just when next time you look at a mixed drink and look at the sugar, the simple syrup, all the sugars and stuff they put in it, it's all sugar. If you're gonna drink alcohol, what I would recommend is, if you're gonna drink a martini and you could spruce it with blueberries or something like that, just take the sugar out. And if you must drink for a buzz, just drink it straight. We like to call it neat, right? Keep the sugar out. The skinny margarita, I mean, that's on the right track. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So you said, can I blend kiwi with the skin? Me personally, I mean, I guess you can, but I probably wouldn't, because the skin is, I don't know. When I drink a smoothie or a juice, I just don't like all that bitterness and the toughness in it. So I probably wouldn't.
Okay, first of all, you need a new blender. Because I got this Vitamix. I put the skin in it. You can't even tell. The skin is where the nutrients. Can you guys think about the skin for a second? Because when I do kiwis, I haven't done them in a while because I'm not sure where they fall on the glycemic index. I would put the kiwis in the blender. Like, first of all, think how much time you save by taking a kiwi, cut it up the middle, drop it in the blender. Cut this avocado in half, take the seed, drop it in the blender. The whole thing. Dude, like, how much time do you save? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to get like Brother Cyrus over there. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
All right. So that is how you do it. Think about when this avocado grew. Where does the strength come from? From the middle or the outside? You know what I'm saying? So the avocado is strongest on the outside. What do you think the nutrients are? In the skin. Yeah, just get you a good blender. The Vitamix will cut. I mean, it will obliviate. You won't be able to tell. And then what you could do, try it, is drink it throughout the day. Just try it one day. Blend your food up, and just drink it all day. Make sure you put garlic in it. Let garlic sit for 15 minutes before you eat it so the chemicals release. Cook your tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? There's some of those things you could do. I mean, there's a lot. You guys just YouTube this stuff. Worms. Ooh, there's nothing you could do to get me to eat pork. Oh man. I went to a pork factory and it was an organic farm, and these pigs were just wallowing, like wallow, 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 wallow. What's that song you guys dance with? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. The pigs were, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. The pigs just wobble. They were just waddling the ground. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'll eat another pig again. They just licking the butt crack from the back to the front and the side to side. They just nasty. There's no way in hell. I couldn't do it. Man. Ugh.
Pioneers having an issue with taking advice from white people. Dr. Berg, I would say I've been following Dr. Berg, or I listen to him, and I've gotten a lot of tips from Dr. Berg on YouTube. He's been on there for quite a while, but I'll tell you what, Dr. Berg makes a lot of sense because he breaks it down. And even Muslims, and Brother Jonell, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they say to eat kosher. Well, what is kosher, and who typically eats kosher foods? Jewish people. And so it says, in How to Eat to Live, if you're going to eat meat, go to a kosher market where the Jews eat, because their food is more clean, and I guess they pray over it and all that other stuff. So they're not going to be eating pork and all of that. So the point that I'm making, Pioneer, is that is of I guess a white people's diet. And so I get what you're saying as far as being careful of who gives us advice, but I think Dr. Berg is battle tested.
and you know where I'm going with this. We gotta cut the race stuff out of some of our conversations. I mean, Dr. Berg is the business. Dr. Fung. I mean, do you guys know, like, when I started doing these podcasts, for the black shows, do you know where I got my knowledge from? White man. A bunch of old white men taught me financial services, and I've taught thousands of black people. When I was managing Kanye's West Money, I learned all that shit from sitting in the boardrooms with those old white dudes. I don't get stuck on somebody's color if I'm learning something. And black people, we have to cut this out. And I get it, and besides, really, can we really be equal if we attack somebody based on the color of their skin? Because that's the shit they did to us. Oh, he's black. Oh, he ain't getting a job. I don't trust his information. We have to start somewhere. And you can learn from everybody. Like my sister said, the seltzer water, flush that unless it's just straight water. Those seltzer drinks.
Yeah, and I used to drink a lot of seltzer water, but my daughter, she did a little research on it, and she was like, that's why you have the bloating and the belching and all the other stuff, is because sometimes if you drink too much of it, it can cause you problems. So it's not necessarily that it's bad for you, but it can cause you the bloating and all of that. So I just stopped drinking it. I love seltzer water. I really do.
No, seltzer water is good, but it will kill you. Even champagne, you realize the reason champagne gets you so buzzed because it expands the muscles, and then the alcohol hits you faster. 20% body fat. I'm working on it. But what I would recommend doing is doing it gradually. You know what I'm saying? Like when my coach, I think I gave her $300 a month, and that came with my food program. And she was like, we're going to do this gradually, Walter. You're not going to do some wacko diet. You're not going to, because it's not sustainable. Do stuff that you can sustain. So I know I can eat without a salad without putting salad dressing on it. I know just, I can go without eating French fries most of the time. Now, where I get weak is if somebody will bring French fries in front of me, then I'll have one. So what I have to do is stay away from them dudes.
Stop lying. You'll have like 30.
Well, 31. I think it's a 1 in 31. You get the point. But like, you have to really, the time that I eat bad is when I'm around people that are doing it. My girlfriend, she cussed me out one day because I took all the sugars. I threw the agave away. Like Dr. Berg was like, don't touch agave syrup. So I threw it out. I threw all that stuff out. And She got all mad at me, and I was like, okay, but we're trying to live here. And the fact, if it's good for me, it's good for you. And there's no such thing as moderation of a bad thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, airline pilots, they're good. It's, we have once in a while we have a moderate occasion of them crashing the plane. You know what I'm saying? And I know that maybe I sound like a wacko, but you have to protect yourselves. With my friends and family, they know when they come around me not to bring that shit. Because yeah, I'm gonna want a piece. I'm gonna want a French fry, and it's not fair if somebody. You just have to stand your ground. That's all. And I don't know anything about kosher. I mean, I did some research on it. Um, Jews are healthier than the African American. That's for sure, right? In LA and Beverly Hills, especially when I'm in LA, I see them walking and they fast. And there's certain things they do on the weekends, so they won't eat, do anything up for a certain amount of time. And it also helps too that they are financially more well off. You guys understand the Jews came to this country making clothes and doing all kinds of stuff, but they did it together. And black people, we can do that. But and black people, we are far away. We're so far away. One thing we can agree on is food. Number one, we don't care if it's the white man, the purple man, or the jumpy man. That's the Jamaican boogie man. We can get our food right. That's easier. And then if you're not spending so much time eating, like normally I would make breakfast and lunch. So if I'm not making breakfast and lunch, what am I doing? I'm making money. I'm doing other stuff. I can deal with the Karens at my Airbnb. Lord have mercy. D, when you go there on Friday, may the force be with you.
And also, when I go there on Friday, I would like to switch out my blender for your Ninja blender, if that's
No,
okay.
don't touch my my Ninja blender. No, that's my blender. When I mean, I don't know. Just make sure you bring it back. But what was it say? White people complexion did not enslave us, their ill mind or no. I get it, you guys. The white man, the colonizer, did their part. By far, they got the party started. They brought the keg to the party. Period. But at this point, we are in the party and we know they're passing cocaine around. It's our job not to take it. Period. That's it. Put
You
down
think
the
you know
Nancy.
about the Jumbie man?
Oh yeah, that's the Jumbie. That's the Jamaican. I used to read that story to my kids. It's the Jamaican boogeyman. The Jumpy man to come in. You
And
come
that's
out in the hallway. The Jumpy man gonna be in the hallway.
and that's why they so scary now. None of them hardly. Only a few of them will watch horror movies, but some of them, they ain't having it.
Yeah, I used to read him the Jumpy Man book. Take your asses to bed. Don't get up. The Jumpy Man is under the bed, and he will grab your feet if you step on the floor.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, y'all, we are out of time. We love and appreciate y'all for being here on this Wealth Health Wednesdays with Walter. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe and all of the
Donate.
things. Donate. That's always good too. Think about becoming a member. As I always say, I would love to have you here. So, Walter, what would you say in closing?
Oh man, what I would say is get you a good like plant-based cookbook, and then cut the part about the sugars out, and find foods that you love, and just find better ways to make them. Like I am digging this cauliflower pizza. It is insane to me. And you don't even know you're not eating bread. And then instead of sauces, get you some tomatoes, some garlic, avocado for fiber, for substance, man, and just get down. You know what I'm saying? If you want, you could throw, I mean, you can just throw stuff in a blender, salt, sea salt, and pepper in the blender with, and make your own, and add cinnamon for sugar. And there's your spaghetti sauce. You can do things to make food fun. I mean, I love food. I enjoy food. Matter of fact, my fast is up in a little bit. I haven't eaten in almost, Jesus, 20, 23, 22 hours. I don't know, something like whatever. But I'm looking tonight. I'm getting down with my chickpea pasta, and I'm making my own spaghetti sauce. Have fun with the food. That's a cool thing. Um, Yeah, let's have some fun, right? And then tell people you love, because ain't nothing like you being healthy, and then your husband, you know, he's eating like crap. Because I hear people, oh, my husband won't eat right, then leave his ass.
Like
Period.
that.
I mean,
Well,
if
you know
you
what? Just because
if
you
you
brought that up.
crackhead and your husband's smoking crack and you trying to quit, I mean, okay, maybe don't leave him, but sometimes you just gotta don't leave him, but sometimes you need to leave his presence. Honey, you want to eat like that? I'll be back.
Yeah, and I also think I'm glad that you said that. You kind of froze up a little bit, but I think you come back. I'm glad that you said that because I think it also takes having an open mind, right? We got to learn how to expand our palate a little bit. You know, somebody offering you something you've never had it before. Don't say no. I mean, unless it's something crazy like some chitlins or something. That's a different story. But somebody's trying to introduce you to some new vegetables, and you talking about I ain't never had it. It's nasty. Well, how you know if it's nasty if you never had it? So, somebody's trying to help you be better. Because I'll tell you what, to me, there would be nothing like myself taking care of my body and eating right, and then being with somebody who was just like say burning candles at both ends, eating all kind of crap. And then I'm sexy at 80 and I'm still, doing my thing. And he talking about, baby, you ain't changed my diaper in 2 hours. See, I don't find that appealing. So I would like for my mate to also be healthy and we, at the same speed, we're doing things and stuff. I don't want to end up being my mate's caretaker, because if you eat horribly, whoever your significant other is will eventually be your caretaker, especially if they're doing the right thing. So keep that in mind for sure. My God.
That person would be like, they'll be like, I don't know. I came home and she was just in the bed and she wasn't breathing. I'm telling you up front, I did it. Shit, I ain't. Something happened to her, cool, but like she just gonna get nasty, and her diet is gonna kill her and put her where I'm wiping her ass from the front to the back. Oh hell no. And sometimes you have to protect yourself. My God, protect yourself, man. One of my boys, JP, had cancer. He beat his cancer in 12 months. He goes, Walter, it was garlic, avocados, greens, kale. He goes, and my doctor told me to cut the stress. He goes, I broke up with my girl. She was so fine. She was so bad, but she was stressing my ass out, and I let her go. I was like, lose that hoe and let him go. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't a hoe. I stole that from Medea. But he broke up with his woman. And his stress, he goes, she was just stressing me out. And his stress level went down. Sometimes you need to cut. People go, well, how come you don't answer the phone? Minister Farrakhan said, if you throw a rock in the crowd, the one that hollers is the one that got hit. If you think I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. Well, some of this call was shit.
I will say this. I sent you and our other siblings a video about health food, and I'll talk about it on Sunday. I'll tell you guys, because I can't think of the name of it right now. Let me see. Maybe it's in my suggestions. And nobody responded back to it.
I didn't get it. So if you sent it to me, I didn't get it. And Kimmy, eat the beet branch. The end of the beet leaves. Eat that. I don't know where beets fall on the glycemic index. I saw something that was mixed about beets, but I hear people eat the leaf of the beets. Also, the broccoli, instead of eating the broccoli, eat the broccoli sprouts, is what I'm doing right now. If you eat the sprouts and some of those things, that's where a lot of the nutrients are. So I hope that answers the question for the beets, because I bought a bunch of beets and then something told me, or I learned somewhere, not to eat those, but to eat the leaf instead. And just do the research, you guys. And some of the stuff, you will save the people. There's people in your life that you love that are going to die miserable, big old, rolling around like they on their back, and they gotta roll. You're gonna have to push them to their stomach to wipe their butt, and then you're gonna have to pull them back. You know what I'm saying? Oh hell no, that alone will make me want to eat right. Jesus Christ. But that was, I don't know.
Oh no, Jafai, I want to say this. No, so clarify. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It says I get it, but what are you gonna do if your mate was in a terrible accident, could no longer take care of himself? Would you leave him? No, that's a different story. Now that's something that was not planned, but I'm saying if I'm eating the tomato and you eating some fried chicken, and that's how our diets are. Eventually, I am going to be your caretaker. So I'm not talking about somebody got in an accident. That's a whole different situation. I'm talking about if you're willfully destroying your body to where when we're older, I'm going to be taking care of you. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to me that you are so ignorant. And I hate to say it because that kind of sounds mean, but that is ignorance. It is
100%.
ignorance.
It's not even ignorance. It's not ignorance because ignorance you don't know. It is baffling if you know like your spouse is eating right and you, because I've had people say, "Oh, my man, he refused to eat right." I'm like, "Okay, girl, come over. I'll make dinner." You know what I'm saying? No, this is a food show. We're not talking about accidents and stuff. We're talking about food. You know, like my mother-in-law had a stroke. And I know the minute she had a stroke, she stopped eating meats and stuff. And then she kind of eased her way back into it because I know, being it's tough sometimes. But like, I just thought to myself, and I said to my girlfriend, if your mom would have had a serious stroke, who would take care of her? Because when her mom had a stroke, she was just that sister that was there. She was there most of the time, taking care of her mom, watching her mom eat out. Her mom couldn't be alone for a few days, and I just go imagine doing that long term, and it was 100% her food. That's it. She wasn't in an accident. It was chicken adobo and lechon, and you know what I'm saying. People eating fried chicken, they put mayonnaise on top of the salmon. I'm like, oh shit, y'all ain't gonna see 60. My God. Yeah, mindset will kill you too, but damn. Um, yeah. Here's the crazy thing about eating shitty is you won't die that life. So people say, oh, hell no, I'm just gonna eat the way I want to eat. The problem is you're not gonna die that way. You ain't gonna just be eating a piece of chicken and be like, oh, I'm out. No, you're gonna start eating chicken and ham hocks and chitlins, which is where the shit flows through. I don't understand how people eat chitlins, but whatever. You're gonna die a miserable death. You're gonna be in the bed. You're gonna be sick. People are gonna be taking care of you. And instead of going somewhere as a family, somebody gonna have to stay behind and watch you. Or even worse, and I'm sorry, y'all can hate me, send me hate mail. I'm a horrible person. I am sometimes for saying this, but I hate going to the airport and I see them pushing those big ass people in those. You know the people I'm talking about. Beep beep to the left, and you turn around, and I'm like, sure enough, that person is 400 pounds. That ain't fair to the rest of us because you want to eat a ham hock and Jimmy crack corn all the time. That you need the stretcher in the airport to get to your flight. That's you talking about baggage fees. So that is not cool. Do yourself better. And I see them too. The kids are fat, and everybody 250 pounds overweight. I'm just like, damn, somebody y'all gotta do better. So you're not gonna die this wonderful death. Like, oh, I'm gonna be eating a piece of chicken. I'm gonna make love to my woman and I'm out. No, you're gonna die. First of all, you eat chicken every day. You ain't gonna be able to make love to your woman because the blood ain't gonna be able to get through the vessels. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, if you eating fried chicken, you ain't laying wood. Not all the time. The chicken tastes like wood, yeah. That's what happens when I haven't eaten for 22 hours. I am mentally losing my mind. So, yeah, anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, Kimmy. Yeah, bake those beets. You can put a little sea salt on them. That's really good. Maybe a little oil if you want to be healthy, some grapeseed oil, whatever oil you have. And bake them. They're really good. You can slice them or you can cube them up. Really good. I like baked beets. And if you want
beet chips, that sounds good. Like get you one of those slicers and make you some beet chips, and you can bake them with some sea salt and pepper. That sounds off the hook, actually. Kimmy, let me give you my address real quick.
The Pioneer, you crazy. Talking about, I guess Dr. Berg is a special type of white man. He ain't like other white folks. Let me check him out. Yes, check him out. And then come back next week and tell us what you think of Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg is cool. I've been following him for years. Really cool. He's actually a doctor. And he, like I said, he breaks it down. So he ain't just saying, here, take this and call me in the morning. He breaks down what it does to your body and all the elements and all that is really interesting. to listen to. And we're not saying replace him with some of our doctors. We're saying add him too. I mean, just because he's white doesn't mean that the knowledge is not valuable, right? We have to learn how to learn from everybody and, use wisdom for ourselves. I guess that's what we're saying. And most people here say they follow Dr. Berg, and we ain't crazy.
No, Dr. Berg is the business, you guys. And I'm going to tell you this too. I follow a lot of people on YouTube and, especially some of our Black leaders that talking about nutrition and health. Some of them are pushing the weight limit. So I hesitate. I listen to people that look and, that are feeling the way that I'm trying to feel. So I don't care what color they are. They could be purple from the planet Yuzon. If they are kicking knowledge, and that's the one thing that white people don't have, that Black people have to deal with, that are, in this situation, is I don't think they have to go, oh, that person is Mexican, I can't learn from them. I think we as Black people go, oh, that person is white, so we have to question learning from them. I just think that's a huge flaw in the system. And I think when Dr. King and Malcolm, they were talking, I don't think that's what they were saying. Like, we can't learn from them. I don't think that's what the point they were trying to make. And wasn't Malcolm half white or close to it? Or
yeah, he has some white in him. I mean, hell, most of us American descendants of slaves got some white in us.
Yeah, and none of y'all really dark Africans. You know what I'm saying?
No matter be Mandingo up in here.
You know what I'm saying? midnight Black Africans. Some of y'all, man. Anyways, the point I'm making is you could, just follow Dr. Berg, you guys. He has 2,500 videos. And I know for a fact I am getting healthier. And his videos, matter of fact, I got Dr. Berg. I got 2 YouTube channels open with 2 of his videos open. That's it. The Minister of Wellness, I think that's the funny dude, right?
Yeah, he be breaking it down. He talk about Killoween and the Thanksgiving foods.
Yeah, like that dude is cool. Dr. Sebi, that whole movement, everything, the Yaqui, that dude, he's got some pretty cool stuff that you can follow. Yeah, and what's the preacher Thaddeus? You sent me that video. I ain't gonna tell these people.
That he on right now, the Thaddeus Matthews Show.
Man, that's the other thing too. Y'all can listen to we talking about health. Let's end with this. He says, I don't know. I ain't gonna say the term, the video he talked about, but man, he made a good point about. I can't even talk about it on the show. I don't even think it's appropriate. But that dude, he broke it down. You know what I'm saying? So be careful what you put in your mouth. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, indeed. So we're gonna get out here. And the Hula Gang, how you doing? I saw you made a comment about your ex-girlfriend ate horribly. Yeah, I mean, I think those are the questions we should ask too when we're getting with somebody. Do you know what spinach is? How about water? You like a salad every once in a while? Do you own a good pair of walking tennis shoes? Like, I think those things are important because we should make sure that we're with somebody who wants to be with us a long time, right? Oh man.
I'm not getting no diaper for no person that ate like shit.
Not me either.
I tell my girl, you know what? I said, don't do that. I get it. I just ain't nothing. Oh man, like, think about being 70 and being overweight and just like, damn, Kanye, is that somebody's grandpa on the record? It's like, who is breathing that heavy? Come on, you guys, like, just think when you go out next time, look at the old people in your neighborhood. Do you want to be that dude? The lady walking, every time she walked, the thighs hit each other. It's like, damn. Like, do you want to be that chick? Come on, y'all. Like, damn. Like, if anything makes you want to eat healthy, just look at the people around you.
Why her thighs got to be doing all of that, though?
I mean, it's true, though. It's like, damn. By the time she take another step, the sun gonna be down. It's all diet and exercise. Well, if you don't even have to exercise. I'm saying to hell with exercise. Just eat right. Because you do enough walking to burn weight and be healthy. If you just walk every day and eat right, you'll be straight. You ain't gonna look like homeboy, what's his name, Curly, whatever his name is. He ain't gonna look like the Black Hulk, but at least Cyrus, yeah. You know, you ain't gonna be like that, but you'll be better.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, y'all, we stayed over long. And Thunder, you crazy. Talking about it's gonna be hard for me to put down them grits. Agnes makes some damn good grits. Thunder likes the older ladies. The older ladies who knows what it's like to go in her own garden and get her corn and make her own grits. That's how old he like them.
I mean, hey, if you gonna eat corn, grow your own.
Absolutely. So y'all, we love it. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all Sunday. Donovan and I for the Dimitri K show on Sunday. I don't know what we'll talk about, but I'm sure it will be interesting. So you guys be safe. Eat something good and healthy that'll give you life and not death. See y'all in a couple of days.
Peace. Yeah, and make sure you go to Verbal Herb and get you a shirt.
You yes, indeed. And you can the information to follow Walter is in the description box. So we'll see y'all later.
All right, peace out.